Last time on Square Roots, we broke time. All right, well, Sean Iceman Ashmore broke time, and Littlefinger broke time, those naughty boys. Also, a building fell on a hobbit. Also, a 25-minute TV show told us that this one guy's wife dreamt he was a cat.
Hey everyone, and welcome to Square Roots, the classic RPG podcast. My name is Jim Banks. I'm joined by Matthew Van Zant.
Hello, it's me, Matthew Van Zant.
Johnny Paulserine Brandon.
Oh, you know that's the nicest one you've had for me in a long time.
Vanessa's not here currently, but she will be shortly, so stay tuned for Vanessa. But this is a podcast where we play and talk about your favorite classic RPGs one chunker at a time. This is episode 2 of Quantum Break.
Quantum Trigger.
Quantum Trigger.
Chrono Break.
Quantum Cross.
And I'm Vanessa.
Thank you, Vanessa. Let's see. Classic RPG podcast, Quantum Break. Yeah, that's what we do here. We also like to talk about hot gaming news. I think there is some pretty hot gaming news this week. Does anybody want to talk about it?
Yeah. I want to talk about it. SAG actors are going on strike, specifically
Again?
SAG video game voice actors.
Phew, you had me worried there for a second.
Sorry, Johnny. The SAG has decided to go on strike from video games, sort of in a studio-by-studio specific way. They won't be working with studios until they sign their tiered budget independent interactive media agreements.
Whoa. Sounds like some companies are going to be looking for a new scab to do some voice work.
And I'm available. I can do all sorts of heroes.
They also must sign the interim interactive media agreement, the interim interactive localization agreement, and they all the agreements address AI protections. So I think what they are most concerned about, aside from the fee schedule, is using voice actors to create a video game AI character that will say the lines for them, which honestly I think is probably the most likely use of voice AI I can think of.
Sure. Why wouldn't you want to use AI to cut costs if you can? You know?
Mm-hmm.
Right, and especially things like saying the player's name and stuff like that. I can really see them utilizing that for.
Go do your special little voices in your mom's basement, nerds. AI's here to take your job.
Yeah, AI is also going to take over podcasts.
Sounds like this, even though, but that's good enough for the investors.
Are you making fun of people that have had strokes? I don't get the
No, that's
joke.
how AI voices sound. Like, they don't sound good.
We don't sound good, and we have a podcast.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
true.
that's a good point.
That's true.
Actually, let me do my good-sounding voice. Hello, I'm Matthew Van Zant, your best friend and lover, maybe.
Now I'm worried.
I'll do my good-sounding voice. It's a higher register, and it's a little bit softer.
Make sure that you
Hi.
don't have any vocal fry, or the internet will burn you at the stake.
Right, I can't have any vocal fry. I have to have a soft, pleasant voice. And when
You're
I
right.
laugh, I have to go,
Vanessa, we should talk about King's Quest V.
No.
If our listeners don't shut off the podcast, I will.
all right, that's my hot gaming news. Nessa out.
Hot gaming news. That's crazy. SAG-AFTRA going on strike, huh? Well, who could ever have imagined that happening? Brand new. It's never happened before. Hot gaming news. After the Deadpool hot butt controller broke the internet last week, they've announced a second hot butt controller. That's right. Wolverine hot butt controller. So if you didn't get that Deadpool hot butt controller, get that Wolverine hot butt controller. Hot butt. Vanessa would have something to say about this, but she's eating pizza. She's thumbs upping. That's... We'll wait. It's fine.
She wants to play it?
No, we're gonna wait to hear Vanessa's take on Wolverine's butt, the controller.
Hi, here's my take on Wolverine's butt, the controller. I feel like it would be unpleasant to hold when you're playing video games.
For sure.
That's what I thought. It looked uncomfortable.
Doesn't look like it's really for use so much as for like, tee-hee, look at my butt controller. That sounds in line with a Deadpool movie, though, so...
It does. That sounds about the, like, depth of the humor from a Deadpool movie.
I'm taking my son to see
Look
Deadpool
at this
on...
butt.
I'm taking my son to see Deadpool and Wolverine on Saturday, and I expect him to find it much funnier than I will. It's okay. All right, well, the last bit of hot gaming news that I have anyway is that a new mod got released today. Whoa, mods. We talk about that on Hot Gaming News, but this is a special one. Fallout London came out today, finally, after like 6 years, I think, in development. Mm-hmm. They are claiming it is basically an entirely new game.
Want some tea then?
Yeah, that's probably what it's like. They're saying that it is basically an entirely new game, so that's neat, I guess. I don't actually know.
Don't they have, like, celebrity voice actors in it?
I don't actually know which Fallout it's a mod for.
4.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
I was looking up the installation instructions today, and it seems really complicated because they have to download these really specific, like, texture packs and mods, and it seems really complicated. I saw there was, like, an installer for Steam Deck that you can download, but before you download it, you have to also uninstall Fallout 4 and then reinstall it as a downgraded version and then install the installer with all the mod stuff. It just seems very complicated.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And unless they make it easier, I probably will never play it.
Yeah, I'd like to try it, obviously. I love Fallout, and I love London. Two things I love together at once.
Yeah, what if
But-
Alex Horne's in Fallout London? You don't know.
What if he's a ghoul?
Yeah, what if he's a ghoul?
Ooh. It just occurred to me that I've never done a Fallout run where I make Alex Horne the little husband, so maybe I need to do it, play the game all over again.
Yeah, do it in London.
Do it in London.
Do you think Codsworth is American in Fallout London?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Instead of being a British robot?
That would be hilarious. But it does seem like a pain. Why doesn't Bethesda just, like, buy it and then put it on a disc and then we can play it? It's happened before
Buy
with
it and
mods.
put it
I
on a
mean-
disc.
Early accounts are that it is definitely crashing to desktop a lot, which does sound like a Fallout game. So the experience
It's the
is real.
authentic experience, yeah.
Anybody else with the hot gaming news?
There were some more layoffs.
Boo.
Game
Oh, the
industry
whole
can't
Humble-
get it together. Yeah.
Yeah, the whole Humble development division got laid off.
Apparently because management wants to focus on short-term investment returns,
Weird.
which is not how video game work.
Well, I think they want to still be a publisher, so I think maybe you can get close to that if you're a publisher.
Oh, yeah, rather
I mean,
than
you
a
can
developer.
be selective about what you're publishing and when. I think there's probably some potential for some short-term money there.
Yeah, but if everybody does that, nobody will be making anything.
I know, no developers left. Every game will be AI.
It's pretty exciting.
Isn't that the future we want?
No.
Oh.
No,
the
we
future.
actually...
It's not the future we want, but it's the future we deserve.
Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah, I think that we're sort of doing AI backwards. You know, it would be nice to use for jobs that people don't want to do, so more people can do art and creative endeavors, but instead we're just having it do all the art and creative endeavors and having the people do the
Yeah.
jobs we don't want to do.
I was led to believe by futuristic cartoons when I was a kid that by the time I got to be an adult, my job would be just like, well, I guess my job is just kind of pushing buttons. But I was led to believe that I would only be pushing buttons a couple hours a day, and then the rest of the time I wouldn't have to work. It's the exact opposite, and I don't understand it. Why is it that as we become more productive, we all have to work more? That's stupid.
It is stupid, and where's my flying car? I was promised
where's
flying
my
cars
weirdly
by the turn of
gendered
the century.
robot maid?
Yeah.
Where's my food rehydrator that will rehydrate Pizza Hut pizzas for me for dinner?
Where's my jetpack?
Where's my little hat thing that I put on my head and it styles my hair for me?
Where's my Zangief sex robot that will suplex me to death?
Suplex you to death?
You know, to decrease the surplus population.
Everybody wants to go out orgasming, and Johnny's no different.
I was watching some documentary about some old 79-year-old guy, and he's like, I want to die having sex with a beautiful woman. And I was like, shut up, Grandpa. You're gross.
Die surrounded by your grandchildren like a fucking adult. All right. Well, after we talk about hot gaming news on this show, we typically talk about how we leveled up.
Cool.
So,
That's true.
sorry, I got a text message. Jim, why don't you tell us how you leveled up?
Sure. I went and saw a concert last night. I went and saw international singing sensation Jason Mraz.
Was the remedy the encore?
No, the Remedy was like the third song that he did, and he did it in like a slowed down kind of acoustic version of it, which was a little disappointing. I will say, all in all, it was not a bad show. I think it's easy to make fun of someone like Jason Mraz because he's so dorky and earnest, but I don't know, it feels mean to make fun of someone who's just trying to be positive, you know? Makes me feel like a bully, kind of. But I will say it was a decent show, and everyone there seemed to be having a great time. So, you know, not my genre normally, but not a bad show. I also went and saw a movie called Oddity, which is a horror film that's in limited release right now, being released by Shudder. Should be on their platform, I think, next month. It was really good. It's about a lady who gets murdered in this new house that she's staying in, and
Smart home?
on the 1-year anniversary. What?
Is it a smart home?
No, it's not a smart home. That's the film Margot.
Okay.
That I told you. Maybe we should do that as a bonus instead of Witchboard. Watching Margot together would be really fun. But Oddity. So on the 1-year anniversary of this lady's death, her twin sister, who is like a blind medium, comes to stay at the house to kind of get to the bottom of who murdered her sister. And the movie is full of scares and creeps. It's got a lot of jump scares, but they're not cheap jump scares. Like, they're actually scary, and it's mostly about, like, you know, scary stuff popping into frame when you least expect it. It's not like fake out stuff where somebody turns a corner and there's like somebody walking in the opposite direction or something, and you get like one of those cheap superficial jump scares. Lots of good jump scares where there's actually scary stuff coming into the frame. So I enjoyed it quite a bit. It's one of those movies where there's like this really consistent feeling of dread, and the camera's like moving very patiently to like look at dark corridors and stuff. It's really good. I recommend it. That's how I leveled up. Vanessa, how did you level up?
Thanks for asking, Jim. I watched a movie called Abigail. This
Is that about a talking doll?
No, it's a
That's
talking
Annabelle.
girl. Yeah. Abigail's a talking girl. It also has Dan Stevens doing the strangest accent I've ever heard.
Yeah.
His character is, I think, supposed to be secretly from Queens, but doing a bad Philly accent. And it just comes off very odd. I mean, has there ever been like a handsome run-of-the-mill guy who didn't want to be a handsome run-of-the-mill guy more than Dan Stevens. It's like every role he chooses, he's like, now let me be the weirdo with the strange voice, and I want to look weird.
Yeah, he has a new movie coming out next month where he plays another weirdo with a weird accent that I think they're in, like, Sweden or Finland or something. It's pretty scary, actually. I'm excited for it.
I mean, I guess good for him, you know? It's like he knows what he wants to play and is having fun as an actor.
Yeah.
But Abigail was not good.
What didn't you like about it?
Whoa.
I didn't like the things that it showed me on the screen, or the way it sounded, or the plot.
Wow, you didn't like
Or-
anything about it?
Did you
No,
feel like it was
well-
written by Twitter?
I don't know. It was predictable, I would say. I mean, I think that part of that is the advertising campaign, which just decided we're just going to give away the whole
Yeah, let's
movie.
just spoil the entire movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm going to watch it, so I would appreciate it if you did not.
No, the
I won't
trailer
say anything.
spoils
The trailer
movie, so,
spoils the
yeah.
movie.
Oh, yeah. No,
Don't-
I
don't
know it's
watch
about
the
a
trailer.
little vampire girl.
I wouldn't watch the trailer then. I mean, you're not wrong, but the trailer
yeah.
gives much more away.
I don't know. It felt a little bit like, here's this gang of people. We're going to give them all one personality trait, kind of Ghost Ship style. I guess it felt old fashioned in what it was doing. It didn't
Yeah.
show me anything new.
Yeah, and one thing I didn't like about it was at the end of the movie in the finale, every character is saying fuck like every other word. And it
Yeah.
got to the point where it was so distracting to me. They'll be like, fuck you, you fucking motherfucker. And it's like, come on.
Yeah.
It's just how people talk.
Get a vocabulary. It's not how we talk, Matt. We would never say something like that to each other. Even in a high stakes vampire situation. Get it? Stakes, yay!
Zing.
I also wanted to be just like Matt and watch The Stand. Who watched The
Johnny.
Stand first of us?
Johnny's the
Was
one
it
that got us
Johnny?
to start it.
Okay, I want to be just like Johnny and watch The Stand. So I watched the was it 2002 Stand miniseries?
2020.
No, that was a 90s one.
2020 Stand
It's not from
miniseries.
the 90s.
Oh.
2020 Stand
Came out in December of
miniseries.
2020, the absolute worst time it could have come out.
Yeah. When nobody wanted to watch something about the end of the world
Yep.
and a plague.
And a plague.
And I thought it was okay. The 9th episode of this 9-episode miniseries was the most unnecessary episode of television I think I've ever seen.
Did you
So
like
that was exciting.
how it introduced a new character? Did it even give her a name?
Yeah, nope. I think you just sort of are meant to assume particular things about it and move on. And also, I'd been wondering the whole time what was going on in the Amazonian rainforest, so thank
Yeah.
you for
What about the uncontacted
answering that
tribes?
question. Yeah, what about the uncontacted tribes?
I guess
That's
that
straight
is.
out of the book.
Yeah, that's from the like revised edition he put out in the.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It felt very King, I'll say. Like, it felt like the most sort of undiluted King of the whole thing, and that's not always necessarily a good thing.
No, it's really not.
We did find out whether or not there would be a hand of God.
Yeah, I
Yes.
didn't catch it, but you guys said you saw it. I looked it up. I guess I did. You can see like a cloud kind of. It does have a hand shape, but it's certainly not straight from the book.
It's
just
like cloud fingers wrap around the queer party
yeah.
and then kill everyone in it.
I did
Yeah.
like that episode though with the lightning bolts just fucking zapping everyone. That was pretty good.
And what's his name? Ezra Miller?
Oh, Ezra Miller showing that he really is world's worst fucking actor.
That performance was bad. Like, I sent a GIF to the chat of what it reminded me of, and that was Simple Jack from Tropical Thunder.
Yeah.
Trash Can Man, played by real life Trash Can Man, Ezra
Yeah.
Miller.
Yeah, I ended up watching the whole
Trash
thing as
Can
well.
Them.
I think it starts okay. My favorite goofy thing was that the kind of main-ish character, Stu Redman, played by James Marsden, meets who does he meet? The old guy with the glasses and the dog.
Yeah.
Greg Kinnear?
Yeah, he meets him for the first time, and the guy's like, "Oh boy, you must be from the South, I can tell." And
Yeah. that
James
cracked me
Marsden's
up.
like, "Yep, East Texas," and he in no way, shape, or form is trying to do an East Texas accent or any sort of accent. He just sounds like he's from California.
Yeah.
It was so fucking weird. Such a weird fucking choice.
He's not. He would have been a better Randall Flagg. Although I thought Alexander Skarsgård was a fine Randall Flagg.
He's fine.
I thought he was too.
I have a hard time with Alexander Skarsgård because is he a bad actor, or does he just get
I thought he was fine in this. He was villainous.
Yeah,
and-
he was okay. I
Every
think the
time
real
he had to
problem with
do
the-
a monologue, it was the most difficult thing to sit through I've ever heard. But again, was it him or was it the dialogue that a lot of which seemed like it was lifted straight from the books, which doesn't match with the 2020 setting?
Yeah, what really bothers me about Randall Flagg is they kept his aesthetic from the novel, which the novel's from the 70s, so he has like this kind of cool,
Canadian tuxedo, all denim.
cool hippie kind of thing. He's wearing all denim. He's got a
got
big
the scorpion
belt buckle.
belt.
They call him.
he's like
they list his like
counterculture
nicknames,
guy.
and they're like the
Walking
man,
dude.
the walking dude. Like, is that supposed to be like a cool name? I don't get it because this is not.
Captain
It's
Trips.
stupid.
Wait, no.
Captain. Every time they said
Captain
Captain
Trips.
Trips, I wanted to die.
I like how, well, I don't know if I like it, but I thought it was amusing that they kept the song title from the original, which is Baby Can You Dig Your Man? The hottest hit of, 2022 or whatever it is? Baby Can You Dig Your Man?
I will say the Colorado Free Zone people, the actors and whatnot, were mostly pretty good and likable. The guy that played Harold Laudner was, I don't know.
I thought he was good. He looked a little old for the part, but I thought he
Yeah,
did a good
that's
job.
how I felt too.
He was a weird
I
looking
thought he
dude.
was a little bit extra.
Yeah.
He's given a little too much. Needed to rein it in a little bit.
I mean, Amber Heard was great as the hottest woman on the planet, so that was nice.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought that side of the cast was pretty good, and the stuff that was pretty interesting. I thought it started pretty strong, but as it goes on, it just kind of gets worse and worse. And then the Trash Can Man gets introduced, and everything goes off the rails.
The Nick Andros stuff. I mean, even in the book, he does get written out very quickly to the point that it doesn't make a whole lot of sense for that they spent so much time with him. But in this one, they don't spend that time with him, so it just is weird. It's like, you're going to be my voice. Dead now.
I didn't see it that way because I don't remember the book that well. So to me, like that didn't really bother me. Like you spend a little bit of time with him. They establish him as a character, and then he dies. Like, okay.
There was
Do you
a really good
remember
scene.
who played? Do you remember who played Nick in the TV
Rob
version?
Lowe, yeah.
It was Rob Lowe. Do you remember his death scene? That's the one thing that I
No,
always remember from that show.
I don't remember that.
So the whole thing about it is like Harold plants a bomb in like the good guys like HQ. You know, that's how King got rid of all the characters he didn't know what to do with. Was he blew them up in the house? But it's Rob Lowe's character that finds the box, and in the TV movie, he finds the box, and you know he's like deaf and mute, so he doesn't know how to warn everybody. He runs into the room with the box and is just like, oh! Explodes.
For
It's
the
weirdest
listeners,
thing.
Jim mimed holding the box up over his head as if
Yeah.
to.
And then
So-
he just yells very weirdly. It's very strange.
That sounds
Oh
terrible.
wow!
I liked the guy that played Tom
Colin.
Colin.
I liked
Yeah.
him too.
I think they
I
did a
liked
pretty
him
good
too.
job of. Oh no!
I'm sorry.
No, I mean it's fine. I think they did a pretty good job of showing, I guess, an autistic character. The book doesn't put
Like
a label
mentally
on him,
challenged.
so I don't want to
Yeah, I wouldn't
either.
call
But
him autistic. I would definitely call him mentally challenged. Like he's
yeah,
Like the way that he
But-
reacted to being like insulted by that woman in the furniture store and who I
Yeah.
really like. I thought that role.
Yeah,
worked
she was
well.
great, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. I think he does. That's his whole spiel when he meets Nick. Is he says, "I'm developmentally disabled. I don't know how to read social cues very well." That's like his
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's
setting
memorized
the
this
expectations.
spiel.
Yeah.
But I think that they did a pretty good job of showing how people can be functional, in
Yeah.
sort of a more contemporary way than
This,
probably was in the book, although I can't really remember.
The scene when they ask him to be a spy and send him on his way is kind of devastating. Like, that was maybe the best
It
part of the whole
is,
thing.
yeah.
Yeah, that was really affecting. I thought that was really good.
But also kind of monstrous. I mean, I guess it worked out, but like, ooh.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, Johnny, that was a big Johnny recommend, but most of us ended up watching the whole thing, and like, it was
Jim
a
didn't.
good
The world's
enough
biggest
watch.
Stephen King fan. He won't even watch the end.
Yeah.
No, I got up to episode 5, and
Yeah.
it was the fucking silliest thing I've ever seen.
It
I was
does
like,
end-
I'm
You
not
didn't
watching
see
any more of
Trashcan
this.
Man, did you?
No,
No,
he
I
doesn't
did
show
not
up till
see
late.
Trashcan Man.
It does end on
Oh,
episode
Jim.
8, and then episode 9 is just all the epilogue that Stephen King tacked onto the back of the novel 10 years later, and that's fucking weird.
It's awful.
It's not good.
It did seem like they were setting up for a season 2. Like, it felt like they were
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, we could go with like, who's this magical girl, and what's gonna happen with this Amazonian tribe.
Well, I think the magical girl there's no question of who it is. It's Whoopi Goldberg.
Yeah.
think
And I
It
don't
is.
think that she is still there afterwards. I think once she helps them, she vanishes again. It definitely
No,
is.
yeah.
That's
I think it was
explicit.
Mother Abigail / God, essentially.
No, Mother
Oh.
Abigail's not God, but it is Mother Abigail for sure. Like, it's explicit. Like, this is...
She's like an apostle or a prophet.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
I mean, I think God in the way, that Flag is
Like-
the
yeah, like
devil,
Jesus
but not
was
really.
God.
Yeah.
I don't really know.
Well, no.
I mean, Flag is
Like,
definitely not like
metaphorically.
Satan. He is
Yeah.
the son of Satan or something. That also
No,
is
if you
pretty
read the Dark
explicit.
Tower books, you find out that he's the son of Wixelplick, the magician from
Superman?
Whoville, who... Isn't that right, Jim?
I'm just talking about this movie specifically,
no,
which
Randall-
does pretty
Randall
explicitly
Flagg-
say that he's the son of the devil.
I'm pretty sure in the Dark Tower, Randall Flagg is like the
just like a
second
sorcerer.
in command under the Crimson King. He's just a dark magician.
So
And at the end, he gets eaten by a Spider-Man.
So, Jim, you did miss the Trashcan Man furiously masturbating to an explosion.
Oh my god.
And
Oh,
he-
is that just candid footage
The
of Ezra
way
Miller
that
that they
he
inserted
the
into
way
the
that he
movie?
reads his dialogue is like, he does this high pitched thing where he's like, for you,
Oh, he's
my
doing like a
word,
Baxter
for you.
Stockman.
It's
Yeah,
fucking
it's
so
worse than that.
bad.
No, it's Simple Jack. It's Simple
Yeah.
Jack.
Oh man.
Except imagine Simple Jack's wearing a jock strap, and that's it.
Yep.
Yeah, it is
Wow.
awful. All right. Well,
Oh, but
this
the
isn't-
other thing I did want to talk about is how uncomfortable the movie made, or the TV series made me at the end, because
Yeah.
when you finally get to Vegas, it's super queer coded.
yeah.
And I don't know, like, there were no gay people. I mean, there wasn't in the book either. There were no gay people in the good town. The good town was all rural, while Bad Town was like a city with gay people and lesbians.
And people in bondage gear. Jim,
Yep.
Jim, please tell us about your favorite speech that Flag gives in the.
Yeah, I think when the show lost to me was the first time it really cuts to Las Vegas and shows you what's going on. It shows a bunch of people in like bondage gear partying in this like big. It looks really cheap. It
Yeah,
looks
it's
like
just a shitty
kind of
casino
like
lobby.
It looks
Yeah,
like a
it-
Holiday
it
Inn or
looks-
something that
Yeah,
they
and it
rented
looks
out.
like it's kind of half under construction. Like there's clear like tarp stuff everywhere.
I don't know. I like
But
the
Randall-
Chicago silhouette windows with people like dancing
Yeah.
in them.
But Randall Flagg goes up to give a speech and he's like, "Oh, they told us before that sex was bad, but really sex is cool. And then it cuts to the crowd, and they're all in like leather bondage gear. And they're all like, "Yay!" And I was like, "What the fuck is going on?"
Yeah.
I'll say he has a second big monologue towards the end of the movie before the bomb gets set off. And it's a very similar monologue about how like we're making a new world and it starts here and I'm your king or whatever. And then he just kind of randomly starts dancing, and it's not good dancing. It was fucking weird. It was so fucking weird.
I loved that. Him just boogieing on the balcony to this like techno, I don't even know what you want to call it, like house music.
Yeah,
it
some
was
EDM.
beautiful.
I
think
there's a couple of good scenes. I really liked the guy, the awful truck driver, and his end. I thought that was great. Mm-hmm. I really liked, and the woman who kills the truck driver, when she's one of the spies that gets sent to the.
She's
sent to
great.
Vegas.
She's fantastic.
She's great, and I love when Randall Flagg's TV face sees her. I thought that was a great shot. Like, that was new for this version, obviously.
What?
Like, basically, she's watching, like, he's doing this big announcement. He's on a TV, right? In the middle
You're
of
right.
the
Yes. Gotcha.
lobby.
Gotcha.
And then, like, he turns and looks at her. That was great.
And the speech is still going, but it's clear. But the face on the screen that's looking at her is clearly not giving the speech. So the sound is still there, and you can tell everybody in the crowd is still like seeing like reality. But she's not. She's seeing this thing for her. It's so creepy. I did like how his little smiley face button did like change sometimes and like make a mad
wink.
face and like wink at people.
Oh yeah,
that was really cheesy
another
and
thing,
stupid.
Speaking of the wink, the guy that plays
Lloyd,
who's his
Lloyd?
like second in command, Lloyd.
was fucking terrible.
Guy's fucking terrible.
Yeah, he was fucking terrible. Nah.
He's doing this really big, broad, kind of like Weasley guy thing. Like in the TV movie, that guy's character is played by Miguel Ferrer.
Oh, wow,
who
yeah.
is like an amazing actor.
Yeah, it's
and,
not
like,
really fair
super
to compare
threatening.
someone to
Yeah.
Miguel Ferrer.
I mean, the
Yeah.
comparison's irrelevant to me because I don't remember that. I don't know if I've ever even watched that made-for-TV
should. It's actually-
miniseries.
I
All
like
I can,
it.
I
You
can't,
should.
I can't
It's
fucking
actually
watch The
pretty
Stand
good.
again. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
I already think it's a pretty weak. I know that it's like a huge bestseller and people loved it in the 70s. I don't think it's very good. I mean, it's. I have read The Stand, and the writing and the way it builds up through the plague is really great, but then it just all fucking falls to pieces. And John, I think the book
Yeah.
does the same thing, where it's the fucking rural American, God-fearing.
I'm not disagreeing with you, but I love that first third of the book is so good.
I think the first like maybe 60% of the book is pretty good. And then it becomes apparent that King has just run out of steam.
Yeah.
And he doesn't know what to do.
He kind of takes a realistic-ish, and I mean, the dreams are a fantasy element, but a realistic look at what the end of society looks like slowly, and it's so compelling, and just you really want to keep reading. But once it gets past that, it's And this TV movie rushes
pretty
through
good
it.
characters too. There's just way too many of them.
All right, we have been talking about The Stand for a solid 15 minutes.
Okay, I guess we should.
Something
And
none of
that's
our
how
listeners
I-
have watched and won't watch.
Yeah. And that's how I leveled up. Matt, how did you level up?
So after watching The Stand, I did kind of go on a Stephen King kick. I've been meaning to watch the 90s Rob Lowe Salem's Lot for a while now because Jim says it's amazing. I did watch it. It was okay. I have to admit, I kind of forgot this. I don't really like Salem's Lot that much. Like, I just don't think it's a very good story. It's kind of blah. It's not a very good vampire story. It's kind of boring, and what horror elements are there are not scary in any way, shape, or form. But
You know, I think
overall,
the
like, it was
best parts
fine.
of that
I didn't
book-
dislike it.
The best parts of the book, they just don't translate to film really well. Like, there's a lot of prose in the book about like how this small town is kind of slowly rotting and becoming really evil and dark. And
Miniseries
it
covers
just
that
doesn't-
by doing a bunch of voiceover where he's just reading from the book, where Rob Lowe is just
Yeah,
reading from the
yeah.
book, and it's not good.
That prose is it's really good, and it kind of really like colors the town really well, and you get like I like grew up in a small town, and I feel like it's very representative of what it's really like, and I think that's the best part of the book, and this adds a creepy dimension to it that just doesn't show up in any of the adaptations, unfortunately.
So I watched that, and it was okay. Then I was kind of still on a Stephen King kick, and I watched, which I had not seen before, a direct, like a teleplay, I guess, that Stephen King had written. So it's not an adaptation, and it was called Storm of the Century. And that's from what? Probably the 90s as well, maybe the 2000s.
Oh yeah, it's got the guy from Wings in it.
But I ended up liking that one quite a bit. I thought it was really good. I pretty much guessed out what was going to happen by about the end of the first episode of 3. But and it had definitely some silly stuff. The villain guy keeps baring his fangs at the camera, but never at a person, which is really silly. And it had a lot of like Kingisms, like the guy figuring out that Linoge is a anagram. Is that the right word? For Legion, the demon Legion. He did that via fucking like children's letter blocks. It was, oh boy, it was silly. But overall, like it was pretty creepy, and I appreciated it was a little different than the way a lot of these go, where the villain just kind of kills somebody and then gives himself up for the police and then sits in a jail cell and from there wreaks all this havoc via, magic or whatever. I did really end up enjoying it quite a bit. It ends on a very silly shot, but it was a pretty powerful ending, I thought. Like, I definitely related with your main character, the dad, whatever, the sheriff, whatever is the constable. I can't remember his name. With the end of that, I don't want to say too much, but like I would have gone on a killing spree in the middle of that town. I cannot fucking imagine. So it was good. It was really good. It was probably the best of those that I have seen. And now, again, on Jim's recommendation, I've started the show The Outsider, or The Outsiders, which was an HBO-produced one season. I was reading about it on Wikipedia. It sounds like they were trying to pick it up for a second season, but that's weird because Jim says the first season just covers the whole book. So,
well, they were going to do a spinoff with Cynthia Erivo's character who plays Holly Gibney, who's like in 3 or 4 Stephen King books. I think she has her own book, and she's in the Mr. Mercedes novels as well. Really cool character. This was her first appearance. Was in The Outsider, but they eventually nixed it. Matt, next you gotta watch Chapel Wait next, man.
That one is not available where I can watch it, and I'm not gonna. Anyway, that was it for my Stephen King watch. But I did so one other thing. I did pick up Tactics Ogre on sale on the Switch. As listeners may know, we currently have a vote going on over at patreon.com/SquareRootsPodcast. If you remember, you can vote on our upcoming games. My choice for this vote was Tactics Ogre. It is currently winning pretty handily. And I saw that it was on sale until the 26th, which is well past by the time this episode comes out. And I decided to go ahead and buy it. So I have been playing that. It may not win. Even though it's winning right now, things do change in these votes, so I'm not super confident. But I figured even if it doesn't win, I've been wanting to play it, so fuck it. Like I bought it. And I'm about 8 hours into it, and I'm really enjoying it so far. It is very similar to Final Fantasy Tactics, but it has quality of life changes that are very handy, which I really appreciate. It has some things I don't love, like a level cap that you can't pass. Because I would like to grind my characters to death and fucking walk through every battle. But the good news is it's also on Steam. You can play it on your Steam Deck. And if you're a big baby who doesn't want to play this game, Jim, you can download mods that will give you basically God mode. So you can just kind of walk through it without any problems. It's really good so far. The plot, again, is very similar to Final Fantasy Tactics. It's a heavy political plot about nations at war, and you're playing kind of a young man who gets wrapped up in all this turmoil, and it has some nice quality of life things, which I don't know if they were in the original or not, but for example, you can just in any city that you've already gone to, you can go to a training ground where you can just grind basically without needing to go to like Final Fantasy Tactics, going to random places to grind. This makes it real quick and easy. And it does have like a fast forward mode. It's not crazy. I wish it was a little faster, to be honest. I wish I had the option to make it even faster, to be honest with you, but it does speed the battles up. I can get through a battle in 15 or 20 minutes, whereas Final Fantasy Tactics, it felt like they would take 45 minutes to an hour sometimes. And a lot of the battles seem to be focused on eliminating the leader, which makes so unlike Final Fantasy Tactics, the experience is not given out based on like actions taken in the battle. It's just an experience pool that's given out when you win. Doesn't seem to matter if you kill everyone and that type of stuff. So it is easy to just kind of go straight for the leader and knock them out fast and accomplish the battle without having to play it for 6 hours and kill 20 dudes. But it's really fun. I love tactics games. I love the old style tactics games. There are a bunch of these, but I think Final Fantasy Tactics is the most well-known, and Tactics Ogre would be the other well-known one. So I'm excited. I hope that it wins the vote, and I am really enjoying it so far. If it does win, I've already got the first chunker figured out, and the second chunker figured out, so that's good. And Final Fantasy Tactics. Johnny, are you excited? You love Final Fantasy Tactics. It's your favorite game.
It's not my favorite game, but I think it's great.
The one thing that I will say that this doesn't have, I think, is while you can like change your character's classes and stuff and try out new skills and whatnot, it doesn't have the mixing that you could do in Final Fantasy Tactics, where you could have a samurai that had monk skills and that type of thing that made the job system in Final Fantasy Tactics so fun. This one's a little more like Shining Force. It's pretty cut and dry. You just change your class and get different skills and whatnot. So that's a little less fun, but it has other things that it does. I like it's got like the mana in the game. You start with 0 mana in your fight, and you build it up as you go along, which kind of makes it nice in a way where you're not like your mages and whatnot aren't useless at the end of the fight because they're out of mana. You know what I mean? So that's pretty nice.
Well, now that Matt has done his review of Tactics Ogre, there's really no reason for it to win the vote. So remember, you still have time to change it.
Yep, you got about a week left after this episode comes out, and if people change it, that's fine. I'll still play it. I wanted it anyway.
I think I'll probably still play the PSP version.
Yeah,
I'm thinking about playing the Steam version like a baby.
Well, I don't think it's too hard. I wouldn't worry about it that much. It's not super tough. I mean, you do have to grind a little, but it's not classic RPG grinding where you have to spend hours grinding your characters. It's, you spend an extra 30 minutes doing a couple extra fights, so you're a little leveled up before you go into your next fight, and you're fine. Anyway, that's how I leveled up. I believe Johnny is left. Johnny, how did you level up?
Listeners, is it a bad idea for me to play the PSP version of Let Us Cling Together? Should I do the PC one? Let me know if I'm about to make a huge mistake. And I leveled up. Well, I watched The Stand. I finished that. It was okay. I liked parts of it. I did not like other parts of it. I watched the first episode of Mr. and Mrs. Smith. It's a spy show.
Oh, I liked that show.
Oh, you watched it?
Who's the lady in it?
Yeah.
She's good.
I don't remember her name, but she is good. I think she and Donald Glover both. Donald Glover? It's not Donald Glover. What's his name?
It is.
It is.
Is it? Oh, okay.
You're correct. Yeah. Maya Erskine.
Yeah.
Oh, she's great.
Yeah.
I think they both picked up a Emmy nomination for their performances. It's a good show. It's a really good looking show.
Yeah, it's a good looking show. It seems like it's actually filmed in New York, or they did a lot of location shooting. I don't know.
I don't know either.
But there was definitely New York filming.
Yeah. They also, sorry, Johnny, mild spoilers. They go other places in later episodes, and those all seem to be location films as well. So
Oh,
that's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, so far, very interesting writing. It's like kind of like they took a mumblecore romance and then added it to a spy movie, basically.
Mm-hmm.
But not in a bad way. Just in like the dialogue's very natural sounding and like kind of quiet conversations between people getting to know each other, and I really like that. At least in the first episode. It is golden age of TV, premium TV. I don't know what you want to call it. So there was a super gory shot right at the beginning, because that's what all TV shows have to have. And I did.
That's
just
how
watch...
you know it's for grown-ups.
Mm-hmm. What did you think of the massive leg damage in The Stand, Vanessa?
Oh, I wish someone had warned me about it.
Well, I think you went ahead and I would have. But you
did.
went ahead
I
and watched the
did warn
whole
you
thing.
about
I did warn you about it.
That was a trigger for Matt.
And you were like, no spoilers, Matt.
Yeah. I did okay with it, I would say. It's not my favorite thing, but I understand that it's fictional.
I think I just have to, like, I can if I'm not writing, but if I'm doing other stuff, I can have TV shows like that on. If I'm eating dinner, I don't want to see gore. Basically, is my whole thing. Anyway, so I watched that. I want to watch more. I thought it was a good first episode. I played VR No Man's Sky.
Whoa.
Ooh.
On PS5. It had some really neat stuff, like to activate your visor to see things, you like tap your eye, which is really cool. And like you take your gun from or your multi-tool from off your back, and there, like at one point there was stuff had been rumbling for a while, like in your haptics, like in your helmet's rumbling, your hands are rumbling, and you hear this crazy sound. And then I look up and I just see this, like, it's kind of like a dune sandworm, but it's flying and then crashing through the planet just around me. And like, if that's happening around you, it's pretty cool. But the sense of immersion doesn't work as well as like Beat Saber or Resident Evil 4 because the frame rate's kind of screwy. I feel like you really need to concentrate on frame rate if you're doing VR, because that really helps the immersion. If it's a little chunky, you're like, oh, this is a video game.
Yeah.
But in Resident Evil 4, like, it's weird how much it feels like you're there, and very spooky. I think that I would like to try that on my PC. The cable's coming out in 2 weeks, so I'm going to get that PC cable. I'm very excited. And I will report back to you on how it is playing on my PC. And I guess that's it. I don't think I need to go on any further than that. How about we move on to Vanessa? What's a stream? We have a stream?
Oh, the stream is every Wednesday night. You guys are like, get out of here, Vanessa. Here's some pocket money. Take yourself to the mall and go shopping. It's boys' night. And you do your boys' nighttime stream. Mm-hmm. And you are playing Phantasy Star right now.
Yes.
The stream is on YouTube. And it is a nice, fun time for everybody. One of you will play, and the other two will read chat and interact with the viewers, and just, talk to each other, have a chill boys' evening together.
You're welcome anytime. You can just come hang out with us.
No, I have to go shopping with my pocket money. What are you talking about?
I'm just saying.
Sometimes I come. Very rarely. My crippling fear of commitment prevents me from committing to playing a whole game.
You don't have
but
to.
I think we'll do some more
you can just drop by and make fun of us.
I usually do that in the chat.
That's true.
I definitely try to make an effort to show up to at least do some light mockery of you in the chat before I move on with my evening. Mm-hmm. That's what the stream is. Find it on youtube.com.
It's on Square Roots Podcast is the channel. There's another channel you should check out called Bears and Games Neo. That's my new channel because I lost access to my Bears and Games original channel, and Google doesn't let you recover things, even if you have like ID and proof and stuff. So screw you,
Terrible.
Google.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm still working on my Grand Theft Auto 3 review. I'm 8,500 words into the script, so that's like an hour. I'm getting towards the end, so it's probably going to be a little over an hour video. And that's it.
Deep dive.
How about... Oh, there's a cat making little squeaky noises. Yeah, you are. You're making little squeaky noises. How about we head over to the quest log? I'm just going to unfurl this. It's on a scroll, even though that's not actually like consistent with what kind of game this is. It's like on an old-timey scroll that someone like wrote on parchment paper.
What are you talking about?
The quest log.
Oh. That's odd.
Yeah, so last time you might remember that Liam was caught red-handed driving a cool car after having a stare fight.
Not Liam, the character who seems to exist exclusively in cutscenes.
No,
He's like the main character of the live action stuff.
Yeah. Well, that and Charlie and Fiona.
Yeah.
You do see a digital Liam right at the start of this chunker, and you also saw him outside the school in the last chunker. DigiLiam, it's called. So, if you remember, Sean Ashmore was caught, but during the TV episode he escaped, and now we see how he escapes, because there's a time stutter. Yeah. And he gets out, then he sees that Beth and Liam are about to shoot each other. He decides to take their guns, because he's a little prankster. A little scamp.
just a little stinker.
Yeah, he's a little stinker.
If I had time powers, that's 100% what I would utilize them for. Just playing funny little pranks on people.
Like
Being
tie
like-
somebody's shoes together.
Oh, no.
Like their shoelaces
Yeah.
together.
Or like, someone's giving a speech, just go on stage and like undo their belt and put their pants around their ankles. So that...
Right fart on their forehead in Sharpie.
That's what I would do too. So you get introduced to a new mechanic right away, because you can find a Chronon source, which does lead to the mild upgrade tree. It's not like a Borderlands upgrade tree or even like a Last of Us or Horizon Zero Dawn upgrade tree. It's a very simple upgrade tree. Like,
Well, it gets
every power
larger
gets-
as you gain more powers.
Yeah, but each power has like 3 levels you can upgrade it to, I think.
Yeah.
Is any game that has an upgrade tree an RPG?
Yes.
No.
100%. All the time, every time.
Absolutely
No
not.
exception.
Nice. But isn't that an RPG element? Having a
I'm
character
joking.
that you
That
can
was-
craft and...
I was joking. I was doing a
So
bit.
by that logic, the Madden games are now RPGs.
Yay!
Yeah!
Yeah, they are.
Tactical
They're tactical
RPGs.
RPGs. Obviously, they're like RTSs.
Yeah, you can make your own little character and be like, I'm football boy, and it's my quest to play the most good football.
Wasn't there one like a
That's how you
basketball
win at
one with
football.
the
You
plot
play the
by,
most good football.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's an
Spike
accurate
Lee, and
description.
there was a ghost and stuff in it. Do you remember that, Jim?
A ghost what?
I think there's an NBA game with a story mode written by Spike Lee, and there was a ghost and stuff in it. Vanessa, you
I have
do
no
know
idea
like a-
what you're talking
Is
about.
that like a... I don't know. What franchise is that?
one of the NBA ones. I'll have to find.
NBA
I'll-
game written.
Is it like an
by
NBA Street game?
Spike
I don't know.
Lee.
one of the 2K ones or something.
Lee directed, wrote, and produced the My Career Story mode in the video game NBA 2K16.
There you go.
Oh.
I didn't make that up. So you are in this industrial
Probably made
area.
up the ghost, though.
No, I don't think so. I think the ghost is real. You are in this industrial area, and you're trying to escape. You don't exactly know where to go because you don't exactly know where you are. You were in a Nissan Transit van, and then you start walking around, and you find out that you have a little earpiece. This little earpiece that had been left in your pocket, I guess.
Uh-huh.
And Beth is contacting you. Also, you are...
Sounds like Beth reversed pickpocketed you.
Yeah. It's like how in Fallout you can put a live grenade in someone's pocket. Which is always really fun. Except they find out right away, which I think is boring. I think it'd be more funny if they didn't realize there's a live grenade in their pocket.
Oh, absolutely. That's the way it should be.
Just do. Oh, no. Anyway, so I was walking past some windows in this industrial area as Jack Joyce, and I saw Nick, the Xander from Buffy type. He is about to be shot because he had apparently had escaped, and these guys have found him again, and they're all about to shoot him. And then their gun starts jamming, and they're like, oh, what's wrong with your gun? Oh, it's misfiring. The pins, there's something wrong with the pin. But then Jack does knock something over, and so you murder these two people and save your new best friend, Nick.
In my version,
No, that's
it's,
not what happens. Yeah.
What's her name?
Amy?
College girl.
College
It's Amy.
girl.
Abby
Probably
or Amy or...
Abby?
Yeah.
Amy? Let's call her Amby.
Amby, yeah. So Amby, I guess, is there. So what does Amby say? How does this meeting? Because Nick is like, "Whoa! Like, thanks for the save. I can't believe they did this. Like, it's crazy, man."
Well,
Is he like a surfer? Oh, man,
Yeah,
I
he's
almost
like-
got shot.
He's kind of a dumb bro, and he's super
like Michelangelo.
into conspiracy theories. But there's an email you find from Charlie in part 2 where it's like, yeah, he's super into conspiracy theories, but not the racist ones.
Oh, okay. There are no non-racist conspiracy theories.
It's true. You dig deep enough, it always goes back to anti-Semitism.
Or
Every conspiracy.
Anti-black racism.
I think even that you'll find
I agree
anti-Semitism
with
there.
Vanessa.
Keep
Oh, wow.
digging. I think that Abby is doing her fake confession, or
Yeah.
not confession, but like
Yeah,
fake
they're having to give
testimonial.
a
confession.
statement.
Yeah, she's like, yeah, our protest group is the one who blew up the library. We didn't mean to. It got out of hand. It was this one guy, Jack Joyce, and he made us all do it.
And then she's very apologetic to you when you rescue her and is like, I'm sorry, I sold you out, basically.
Yeah, and they like show her a picture of her family's house and things like that, and they're like, you have to do it. So
Yeah,
she
that was
doesn't
in
have
the
a choice.
junction from last week.
Oh, right,
I'm
right.
jealous. John's character sounds more interesting. Abby is fucking annoying.
I thought her name
She's
was Amby.
fine,
Amby is very annoying.
Amby.
And Beth hates
She's
her,
just,
which is
you know-
actually pretty entertaining.
Yeah, she's your typical sort of activist college student whose heart is in the right place, but maybe doesn't have enough life experience to effectively organize
Right.
tangible change.
Right.
Take that, college students.
Jack does realize that Amby is dead, and is like, and the last thing I said to her was keep on fighting. Like, that's so weird. And now she's dead, and he like blames himself for it. He feels very sad about her death. There is some graffiti that you run into, and it shows Beth and Liam pointing guns at each other, which does mean there's exposition graffiti, my favorite thing. Well, I like exposition
Yay.
tapestries and exposition murals, but this is basically an exposition mural.
But who's doing it?
Yeah, that's what I'm curious about. Who's doing these murals? Because the one that you find at the beginning of the chunker is showing something that just happened in the story, like moments before.
Yeah, that's why it's cool.
But it's a mystery, don't you think, Johnny? Or do
Yeah.
you think it's just the developers having fun?
It is a mystery that is explained in this game.
Wow, spoilers.
Oh.
So don't worry. Keep on playing and you'll find out. There's exposition murals. You do have to do you do get a puzzle you have to solve with some timey-wimey stuff. Basically, you can shoot down. You can use your Batman vision, detective mode, to see what obstacles you can interact with, and then after you knock stuff down, you can knock it back up. So knock it down, knock it up, and sometimes you can ride stuff doing this power.
Johnny,
yeah.
Are you saying that it gets knocked down, but it gets up again?
Yeah.
How can I keep it down?
You can't.
You're never going to keep it down.
Yeah, never.
Oh, wow.
But you can also not keep it up the whole time because it's when you redo the time thing, it's only for a limited amount. So you have to use your warp power to really get through some stuff here. There are Chronon surges, which is, I think, that's where you hold down the button and it makes things explode, right?
That's the time charge deal.
I
right?
like that.
It's like throwing a grenade.
That's pretty. I powered that one up because I use that a lot.
Yeah, me too.
It's really
powered
fun.
up
Time
the,
blast or whatever.
I powered up the
dodge.
teleport, skip, the dodge. Yeah, I powered that thing up to max just because it goes pretty hard. It's really good.
There's Shotgun Men, and I like that they introduce themselves. They're like, "I'm a Shotgun Man. Shotgun here. It's time for
I
shotguns."
had a lot of problems with these shotgun men at first. It took me a minute to really figure out the combat in this game, but now that I've gotten a handle on it, I can wipe out whole rooms of dudes in seconds, and it's pretty fucking good, actually.
Do you know what the
I
Shotgun
like to
Men are
freeze
weak
the
to?
shotgun.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. You go ahead.
I like to freeze the shotgun man and then take out my own shotgun and put some shotgun bullets in the air by their face, and then when they unfreeze, all the bullets are like, surprise!
I'm a big fan of the slow motion shots you get when you shoot the last guy in an encounter. I like to make it a point to shoot them in the head, and the slow-mo is very satisfying.
I like to teleport around them multiple times and pump them full of bullets before they realize that I've gotten behind them or whatever. The shotgun men are actually, all of the enemies are pretty easy so far if you just use your time dash to zip around to their side, and then time
you
slows
get
down.
a Max Payne thing when you time dash around them.
It's pretty fucking fun.
There's a quantum ripple here that I missed, and I don't know what it does in the TV show. I know Matt got all 100%, so I don't know.
I did 100% these, but I don't know what it was.
Okay.
Oh, it's the eye drops, right? Aren't the eye drops a quantum ripple in the room where you rescue?
Are they? That's in part 2, I think.
Yeah, it's in part 2.
This is part 2.
No, this
you're
is
right.
part 1.
Okay. No, this is part 1.
No, it's in part 1.
They
You
are.
rescue.
You're right. Yes, they are in the industrial area. Were they a ripple? Maybe I just didn't notice the little, because it's just like a subtle little logo in the corner.
I don't know what it changed in the thing, but I'm pretty sure that was a quantum ripple. I could be wrong.
So there's a big warehouse shootout with the shotgun boys, and it's like a multi-story thing. This one I found pretty challenging at first until I got used to dealing with shotgun men's.
Yeah, me too.
and
I
then-
died several times here. It was frustrating.
Yeah, me
I
too.
also wasn't using the shield, which then I realized heals you as well. Like the time bubble shield that stops bullets from hitting you and heals you.
And that does.
That's
I didn't
handy.
realize until I upgraded it that you can heal with the time bubble, and that really helps. There's a. So the reason that we're heading through this area is that we're trying to get to the dry dock because Paul Serene will be there. And Nick has a walkie-talkie, and I guess he can talk into my earpiece. So that's how I'm in communication with Nick as well as this is going on. And then you got to pass through Ground Zero, which is part 2 of Act 2. This is a cool area because it's got the creepy quarantine style tents all around it, and then once you get inside, time is messed up in there.
Yeah. You see your brother, your poor squashed brother. He's all around you.
That was a really good scene. I thought that was just amazing. Like really
It was good
cool.
the first time I played it, and then I had to play it 2 more times, and I was really annoyed with it.
I love like time is passing super fast, and you see a hobbit like going around building stuff around you, and like it sort of comes and goes, and
Oh, yeah, the whole time lapse thing is neat.
yeah.
He builds like a cool hobbit house. It's like, it's a hill.
Underground. The time lapse goes on until he reaches his 111st birthday.
Yeah, you see him have breakfast and second breakfast and 11sies and lunch.
And tea. Don't forget tea.
And then he's like, "What about Claire's baby?" Oh wait, no, he's not Australian. Claire's Australian. Sorry.
Yeah.
He's like, "My baby, Charlie. What about my baby?" She just comes in.
I thought that the idea of it was kind of moving, that, someone you lost is suddenly physically there, but you can't really interact with them, or you can just watch this
Kind of
echo of them.
seems like the brother Will saw him a couple of times. Like he looks
Yes.
right at him.
Yeah. I was going to say the same thing. It does
Yeah.
kind of seem like he looks right at Jack a few times, and it's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Well, and he very well might have, because he sort of knew more about what was going on than Jack did, it seemed like. So he might not have been surprised to see his little brother from the future flip in and out. You can only assume that was his perspective.
And he's telling you to go through some more warehouses. There's a lot of warehouses here. A lot of boxes. I missed in part 2. There's 2 early Chronon sources that I never could find. I found every single other one in Act 2, or part 2, but there's 2 right at the start that I missed, and I felt very stupid.
There's one right after the trailer that they hide them very well. There's
Yes.
one right after the trailer that is like you walk out of the trailer and into a warehouse, and there is just like a little corner behind like a shipping container that you can squeeze into. One's there. That one
I
was
think
the
I
toughest
only
one
found
for me to find.
one. I have to get better at this, because I've only
Yeah.
found one Chronon
Or do what
source
I
so
did
far.
and
Good, use
Google
your-
Act 2 Chronon Source collectibles.
You gotta turn on your time vision,
Yeah.
and then it tells you where they
That's
are.
why I
relative
knew
to
No,
that
the
you
was
have to be
tour.
close to them though. It's not perfect. It's got
Well-
that little map thing, but that thing sucks and it breaks sometimes. I was replaying one
does.
and it kept trying to show me where ones I'd already gotten were, and I was so fucking annoyed about it.
For me, it was like it kept showing ones that were in zones I couldn't get to anymore. So I was like, "What are you doing? You're just taunting me now."
I will say I learned this week that the collectibles are like independently saved. So if you go and just like replay an act and just go find the one,
Right.
Collectible,
But you have to do
you
it
can
through
just
the
quit
timeline
out.
interface.
yeah.
You can't do new game because that erases everything.
Well, of course.
Yeah.
But if you're replaying chapters, you can just go find the one thing you want and then quit out, which is fucking fantastic. That's amazing.
There's a fun part where you're walking around. I guess this is probably with Amy, where you're in this train yard. There's a couple of Chronon sources you get to, and there's a door that you can't open, but there's a window above. And Nick's like, well, I guess there's a window up there. Can you like use your X-Men? Oh, and Nick sees your X-Men powers and is like, what the fuck?
God, I'm so jealous. This sounds so much better than my version with fucking Abby, who's just like, oh,
Andy.
you're just like them. You're skipping around. I'm scared. Like, I don't want this. I'm going back. I'm changing things.
Well, you can, but you've already done
you?
Act 2 3 times, so maybe not.
Yeah, I'm not doing it again.
So there's a train yard that you get to walk around in, and yeah, there's a lot of stuff to find here. There's no combat in this little chunk, which I liked. And
Wasn't there?
Yeah,
Isn't this where you first? Yeah, there is in Ground Zero.
well, no, just in this part in the train yard, there's no combat.
Oh yeah,
for like
okay.
a little part of it. And you got to do some platforming. You can find some Cronin things, and then get inside
There's
this
3 here.
building. This is where you find the email that explains that Nick is not racist, but Charlie, the IT nerd, is super mad because he's like, this Nick guy, this taxi driver, is checking his Facebook on Monarch systems. And Charlie gets really mad about it in some emails. There's also
I have to admit, I hit the point about halfway through this act where I stopped reading the emails. I was like, I don't care anymore.
I enjoy them. I'm enjoying them.
It's just too much.
When does Paul
They're long.
tell you to
and also
read them
you
out?
have to, I'm sorry, they're long, and also you either have to read them backwards or you have to scroll all the way to the bottom, which they can
Well,
be
that's like
long
real
ass
life.
chains.
That's like real life, though. I hate how Outlook
Okay,
shows emails.
but in real life, I can just, it's real fast to scroll to the
That's
bottom,
true.
and in this, you're just holding down your fucking, your right analog stick for like minutes, just waiting for it to scroll through these fucking emails.
There is a script you can find in one of these trailers. The puzzle to get inside this trailer is that you have to unplug a perfectly modeled Nissan Leaf. I thought that was great. This
You have
game
to unplug
makes
it.
its
I
need-
thought the lock was inside the car, and I thought it was the weirdest fucking thing I've ever seen in my life. I was like, so the trailer's locked, but I have to hit a button in the car to unlock it?
No, that's not what happened. It's that you have to unplug it. Or
I like
like
my
stop
version
it
better.
charging because it was it was using too much power and the lock was out of
What did
power.
I thought it was
you
the
were
opposite.
turning on the car to
Yeah.
give
Oh, maybe.
juice to the
Oh,
trailer.
okay. Yeah. Well, no, I thought
Yeah,
you were turning.
I think there's a-
maybe.
No, I think there's a note that says like trailer lost power, must turn on car. Whatever it
okay.
is, it's worth it because in this trailer we have the best, probably the best part of the game. I haven't
Yep.
finished it, but I can only assume.
Tell us about what you find in this trailer.
In this trailer, you find on the email someone's unpublished screenplay, and it is a saga. It's this really long. If Matt hates scrolling, he's gonna hate this because this goes on for 10 pages worth of screenplay about time travel and corporate conspiracy. And
It's a guy. It's Bruce Livingstone,
Yeah.
and he's a wielder of the time knife.
That's
a knife
right.
That can stab things and send them traveling through time.
yeah, and it has stage directions like it looks like a knife, but also a time machine because it's both a knife and a time machine. And
I
of
like
course,
the setup. I like the first line is Bruce Savage stands in his office. He is sexually attractive.
and of course, there's Bruce's best friend Slobbo, who is not as fat as his name implies.
And his catchphrase is, "Oh yeah."
He has a second catchphrase too.
What is it?
I don't know, but it says he's also got another catchphrase, which he says in a really
think-
funny manner.
Yeah, I think his second catchphrase is "Oh no."
That's it. Yep.
There's
it's
a
about-
beautiful-
It's oh man.
Oh yeah.
and
There's a beautiful scientist woman.
And he is sending
who-
this to, I think, is he sending this to Severe Bob Lady, Sophia? He's like, I need
can't
you to see
remember
if the
who.
science is accurate.
Oh yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
I
that's
think
right.
that is what he's doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. But she's not actually a lady because Bruce kisses her and the stage direction says Bruce pulls off the scientist lady's wig. She is actually Bruce's boss, Paul Marine. Paul
Right.
Marine is a douche.
Yeah, and Paul Marine has a girlfriend who wants to be with Bruce instead because he's so much better and cooler than Paul Marine.
Yeah.
Paul Marine, clear homage to Paul Serene. I mean, it's really sort of a cutting social commentary of a script.
Very, very, yeah.
I think
very
he
nice
just doesn't like
pastiche.
his boss very much and does fantasize about killing him.
I like in the boss's dialogue, he's like, I'm the bad guy, and I needed you to kill all these people, but also I respect you as an employee. And I think it's really smart.
But Paul Marine does turn the time knife into time bullets, and the bullets will make you go back in time.
I can't wait to read the next installment of Time Knife.
Yeah, me too. I want to find out what happens next, because he's going to go to the wedding and cut the cake. And he's going to say it in such a way that the audience knows that cutting the cake means kicking ass.
Yeah.
So we do get our first. I'm just looking at your notes, Johnny, and you skipped to Paul Serene at the Drive Dock. So we do get our in between here. We do get our first battle against time power enemies. Mm-hmm. The stormtrooper guys in like white armor with timey-wimey stuff on their back. I don't know.
I don't like it. I want to be the only special time boy.
Yeah, I like when they like walk into your time bubble. That's pretty funny.
I like when you kill them, they like freeze in time. So like after you wipe out a room full of these guys, they'll all be like hanging in midair in their like death ragdoll pose. It's pretty fucking good, actually. It's pretty great. I like it a lot. Also, they're not.
You also
hard.
run into Paul Serene for a moment, and he's like, and you're like, "Hey, why'd you kill my brother?" And he's like, "I had to. Jack, Will forced my hand in this, and look, I feel real bad about it. Why don't we go talk about it at my
I don't think
manse?"
you run into him. I think he calls you. He just calls you on your cell.
Is that what happened? Okay.
Yes, he does. He just fucking calls
okay.
you.
And he's like,
Which
well, why don't you
I
meet
thought was
up with-
hilarious.
Meet up with
Imagine
me.
if
Well,
Darth
they're
Vader
best
just fucking
friends.
rang Luke up and was like, listen,
No,
father.
it's like Han Solo calling Luke. They're best friends.
Except
Han
everyone
Solo's
has
not a
Windows
villain.
phones that are amazing, and I feel so jealous of everyone and their amazing Windows phones.
I always wanted one of those.
Oh, they're so good.
I feel so bad for Paul Serene because it's been 20 years from his perspective that he's talked to his best friend. And then the guy's like, you killed my brother. Me. me. You killed my brother.
You killed my shitty hobbit brother.
So he does say, okay, well, let's talk about it at my manse tonight. There's a party, and I'll get you an exclusive invitation. And Jack's like, well, why would I go to your party? And he's like, well, I know you do, because it's already happened, and I've seen it, and you show up. So see you there.
What a power move. Like, imagine having these time powers and being in a relationship, and every time your partner doesn't want to do something, be like, well, you do it, though, because I've seen it.
You're gonna do those dishes eventually, so
Yeah. So you might as well do
just
them now.
do it.
You know what the time knife reminds me of, Nat? But if only this desk were a time
If
desk.
only this desk were a time desk.
Anyway, so you head to the dry docks, which is, you have to go through Ground Zero. And
I was excited about this because I love dry docks, and I mean that legitimately. I think
What's
dry
a
docks
dry
are
dock?
cool. That's where they repair boats. They like float it in, and then they drain the water out. And it's got clamps, and it lifts the boat up, and so they can
that's
fix
why
the
there's a
boat.
lifted up boat there.
Yep. Dry docks
Yeah,
are
they
fucking
also
cool.
use them
Just
for
the amount of
storage in the off season too.
yeah, just the amount of like technology involved, but also like I was out in Tampa recently, and there are a bunch of dry docks around the bay, and I was pointing them all out to my son, like, look at those, aren't they cool?
That's the most
Was he
dad
like,
thing you've
sure,
ever done.
Dad?
Yeah, he does. He does. Like, yep, whatever, Dad. You were at a World War II museum. What do you want from me?
Oh, no, I was just going to say, and then you read like a World War II book, but you actually did.
Yeah, okay.
Wow.
Hi, I'm a dad. I'm going to
So
go
you
sit down
get,
and read some Tom Clancy.
You get to the dry docks, and Paul Serene is getting into this helicopter, which Jack just starts firing at. No one's firing at him. He's just like, I'm going to murder these guys.
Yeah,
right
he
now."
wants to fucking kill Paul Serene. I actually really appreciate like his passion and commitment. Like, he does not care. Fuck you, Paul Serene. You're a dead man.
I think it's so short-sighted of him. Again, like, he
He's not
doesn't
a
want to
smart
even
guy.
listen.
He's a dummy.
He's a difficult guy.
And Paul Streen tells
He's just
the
a
sniper,
normal
like,
man, Vanessa.
don't fire
He's just
at
an
this
innocent
guy.
man.
I'll deal with it. And he just uses his time blast to time collapse a time crane, which starts dropping a time boat.
This was cool.
Yep. So now you got a whole platforming session about walking around a time boat. And you gotta like zip through areas. I got crushed like 5 times in a row because I didn't wait. There's like this 2-part thing, but it looks like you have to get through it in one go. But you actually have to wait, and it took me a while to figure that one out because you'll get crushed by some scaffolding, and then there's like a whole timing thing to it, and then there's lots of jumpy jumps, and then
Oh boy, it's not complicated. I mean,
well, it took me a while, Matt.
You just run through it.
Yeah, come on, Matt. We know that just because something is easy for us doesn't mean it's easy for every gamer, and that's okay.
And
Everyone has their strengths and weaknesses.
What do you think about this,
there's
Jim?
a
I gotta
time
pull
fight.
Jim in. Jim, what do you
And
think
then
about
there's
this?
a cool van that drives through a gate, and you got to jump over the gate. And that's the part that screwed up for me when I played it back in 2018, and then screwed up for Vanessa when she played it in 2024.
You're doing
It
things out of
was
order.
horrible.
Whatever, it's fine, Matt. Doesn't matter.
It's a
out of order.
time mix-up game. We can do
Because
things
it's a
out
time
of
mix-up
order.
game. Yeah.
So yeah,
That was cool. I liked it.
Hey, let me tell my story. There is this glitch
Only if you tell
that
it
is.
via rap.
Mm,
Well, I'm
I
Rappin
was
Nessa, and I'm
playing-
here to say...
I can do it. I'm Rappin Nessa, and I'm here to say I got a glitch that screwed me in a major way. In the middle of Act 2, Part 2, you see, there was this van that crashed through, and it messed up for me. Every time I got to this place, I would have a sad look on my face. The game, it froze, and he just stood there. I was so unaware. I couldn't press the buttons. I couldn't move the stick. I just sat there holding my dick. So then I had to restart the whole act, you see, and then it worked finally for me.
That was fucking amazing.
Great job, Vanessa.
Yeah, I guess this is a known glitch where it freezes up. It doesn't exactly freeze though. It's just your character freezes, and the enemies keep just like shooting you full of bullets, and you just stand there.
It's funny
completely
because what's
immune.
supposed to happen is everything else freezes, and you are able to...
Yeah, it was the old reverseroo. And the only way to fix it is to replay that whole act, but happily you don't have to play all of part 2, just like part 2.2
Act 2,
or
part
something
2,
like
yeah.
that. Yeah.
I liked this part. This is after you fight the time guys for the first time, and then, or maybe right before actually. And yeah, you kill a bunch of dudes, and then this van comes through and crashes through a gate. And I was a little stuck for a minute, like, how am I supposed to get around this? And then I finally realized, oh, I can just climb on top of the van and jump over it. It was pretty fucking neat.
Speaking of glitches, the game has a glitch on the Windows Store version where if you have an NVIDIA card, like lights just start glowing more and more until they're like taking up the whole screen. And it's just like these big
Whoa.
blobs of light. And sometimes rebooting your system works, or quitting the game works, or resetting your graphics card works. I just gave up and I switched over to Xbox because it was not playable. It just kept breaking.
Jeez.
This game's not finished, and Remedy says they're never going to update the Windows Store version. You should have bought it on Steam instead, because they are updating the Steam version, which works way better. But Jim even had to quit because the episodes just weren't working on his Steam Deck.
Yeah, it was weird. I know we had a listener email in, maybe it was on Patreon, and tell us that the Steam that the episodes work on Steam for them. I'll say for me, it's not that they didn't work at all. It's like I would be able to stream like 3 seconds of it on the Steam Deck, and then the screen would get all smeary and all of the colors would meld together in like a big blob, and then it wouldn't do anything. It was unusable on the Steam Deck.
Yeah, I gave up and I just watched it on. I'll play through on the Xbox. I'll buy the Steam version when it's on sale. I'm not gonna. Right now it's $40. I'm not gonna spend $40 on a game I already bought on PC.
Yeah, I got it on during the summer sale for like, I want to say like $12 or $13.
I'll just put it on my wish list and get it.
Yeah,
because it
I'm
does
sure it'll
play
be
better
sale
on
eventually.
PC, but the Xbox version, even though it does have that big crash, it's still relatively stable comparatively.
Yeah.
It seems a little irresponsible to keep selling it in the Windows Store
Yeah.
if they know it doesn't
Yeah,
work.
for sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know if they are still selling it. They might have stopped, but yeah, I paid $10 for it, but it's a broken game. It doesn't work right. You can't stream the episodes on PC on the Windows Store version, and yeah. Anyway,
Ask for a refund, Johnny.
it's too late now. I did,
Get
but
Canadian Karen.
I did ask for a refund for it when the episodes didn't work, but they said I already played too much of it.
Ugh.
Yeah,
Ach.
that was a long time ago.
So we escaped from the dry docks after trying to murder Paul Serene. At the end of the chapter, we run into Beth and I guess Abby and or Nick. Is that his name?
Yeah. Nick's in the car. I did like where he's like, "Well, how do I know I can trust you?" And she's like, "I don't know. Shoot me then if you don't trust me."
And then you get in the car with her, and she's like, "My car, my tunes," and it cuts to black, and then we
What was
start
she listening
chapter
to?
3 of the chunker, and it is it Everybody Wants to Rule the World? Is it Take on Me?
It was for me. It was Africa by Toto.
Africa. That's
Yeah.
what it is.
Africa for
Yeah.
me, yeah.
Which I was
which
like,
is
good
hilarious.
choices, Beth. And we're heading to the Bradbury
like
swimming
that-
pool. We kind of skipped it. Go ahead.
I like that Abby, when you get in the van with Beth, Beth says something rude to Abby, and Abby calls her a bitch,
Yeah.
which I thought was really funny.
They don't like
Yeah,
each
you
other.
do
It's
find-
like, whatever, bitch.
You do find his suitcase, his brother's suitcase, at one point in Ground Zero, and it does
It's in the
have
trailer, yeah.
a key to it for at the Bradbury swimming pool.
Yeah, this was super silly because you could tell they took Will's briefcase, opened it up, looking for clues apparently because they know he has a time machine somewhere. They don't think to use the key that has a giant sign on it that says
Giant.
Bradbury
I mean, it
swimming
is-
pool.
It is
a foot-long
It's
piece
like
of
an 8
wood.
by 10.
Yeah.
It's just his normal swimming pool key that everyone has.
It's the type of thing that you get in like a rural gas station bathroom where they're like, we
and
don't
then-
want you to steal this, so
Well,
here's
it's
this
so that he
giant
never forgets
fucking...
it. Or like what he
I
doesn't.
like you get a cutscene of Paul Serene talking to Martin Hatch, and he's like, "We've been looking for that time machine for years."
Yeah.
And it's like, what? Come on.
You dumb idiot. So what I like about part 3 is there's no combat, only adventure. It's an adventure.
Yeah, it's
game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the. I mean, I won't say the platforming is good,
It's
but I
not-
think it's clever. How you find your way into the swimming pool and get to do all that stuff.
Find that sneaky Chronon. There's a couple.
Yeah, there's a bunch of Chronons in here. Got a bunch of them. There was one Chronon in Act 2 I really liked. It was on top of like one of those sci-fi pylons they had.
Yeah.
Like right at the top.
Oh, yeah.
And you only get it if you like look up at it. And
Yeah.
that
I
was
think that
pretty
they
fun.
I want to say they do a great job hiding them, but also I find it very fucking annoying. Like they're cleverly hidden.
It's fun to find them, I think.
Yeah, it is. When you run into one, it's satisfying because I did replay this, as I have said, and I definitely had to Google some video guides to find a couple of them.
And there's a video. Well, you can explore this whole building. This building, it's full of lots of exposition stuff. and it's stuff you can find, and it's really well modeled. It's just like a nice old school building that reminds you of some of the buildings like I grew up with. And there is, when you unlock the door for Nick and Beth, or Amby and Beth, and Beth leads you downstairs, and there's a TV downstairs which says, "Beth, play me," and Beth's like, "What?" And it's a video that Will made 6 years ago for her, saying that she stole his contingency device.
Countermeasure is what he calls it.
Yeah.
The countermeasure.
But he wants her to have it. He's like, it's
Also-
missing. Please tell me you have it.
The countermeasure, if you're paying attention, which I didn't catch it the first time, but I had to do this a couple of times to get all the chronons. The countermeasure is 100% like a hexagon type thing. It is 100% the thing that we saw in the Alan Wake 2 DLC that starred Shawn Ashmore.
It's also the same shape. It's also the same shape as what's Jesse Faden's companion that's in her brain and control. Polaris. It's also the same shape of the thing that's housing Polaris in control. Like when you get to that big lab in control that's towards the end when you're trying to find Dr. Darling, and Polaris, they say she's in this container thing that Darling built. It's the same shape as the countermeasure. Mm-hmm. That tetrahedron thing.
Yeah.
I also found a mural on the side of the pool of the thing. The same shape thing.
Oh, the countermeasure?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you can sort of rewind time and see someone spray painting it up, but you're not sure who.
Interesting.
Yeah, and then they see this video and she's like, "How can this video be for me? I don't know him." And it's like, you idiots, you're in a time travel adventure.
Yeah.
Come on.
That was when Beth is like, she's like, "How he made this video for me 6 years ago." I was just like, okay. But you know that it's time travel.
Yeah.
I like, or I don't like, someone needs to tell Will, he's too close to the camera when he's filming that. Way too close. His face
he's right up.
Yeah, he needs to back up a little bit. Get a profile. You don't want to be that close. It's distorting his face.
He's trying to make himself look bigger because he's insecure about his size.
How teeny tiny he is. Oh,
It's
man.
Yeah.
like fisheye
when-
lens.
In the episode 2 when Dr. Amaral is talking to Mr. Hatch and he's like 1.5 feet taller than her, he is so tall.
Oh yeah, yes, yeah. When he does that creepy walk towards her, I gotta say, every time I see that, which I feel like I've seen it multiple times in multiple things lately, where some big man just walks towards someone and expects them to back away. And I'm not a large man, but I feel like I would just kind of stand there and be like, "What are you doing? What are you doing? Please don't touch me."
So the
personal space, it's like a bubble. Think of it like a bubble.
yeah.
I know it's genuinely violent and terrible, but I always think it's a little bit funny when men are angry at each other and they just stand chest to chest and are like,
I remember that from high
kiss.
school. Legitimately, I remember that from high school. Dudes bumping chests together when they were like, "You want to go? You want to
Yeah,
go?" I was
exactly.
I'm standing in the background just going "You look like a couple of tiny, pathetic silverbacks. It's the stupidest
yeah,
thing I've ever seen."
exactly.
Question,
It's so
question for the group.
apey.
Have you guys ever been in a fight?
Yes.
Yes.
Kind
A
of.
fist fight?
No,
Yes.
I knocked someone down. He was he was a bully in high school.
Oh.
I've been in a couple of drunken bar brawls.
Wow.
Oh.
Did someone play the player piano and then it stopped as soon as you guys walked by, but then they kept playing again after?
I'm not going to dignify that with a response.
I was at summer camp once, and there was this girl who didn't like me because she thought I was annoying. And she
Classic
sort of
reason to get in a fight with somebody.
Yeah.
You're annoying.
Yeah, and she kind of chased me and I was running up this hill, and then she stopped and turned around, and it was a very steep hill, and she slapped me in the face, and I just thought, well,
Whoa.
if I push her, she's gonna fall down this hill, and that would be really terrible, and so I just didn't do anything.
So the answer to the question that you meant to say, you could have just said no.
I said kind of. I guess, yeah, it wasn't a fight. It was an assault.
Vanessa, the question was, have you ever been in a fight? Not have you ever gotten beat up and humiliated?
Oh wow.
I remember. I don't want to go too far in the details, but I remember being in my early 20s and like yelling and fighting with my girlfriend. Not like fist fighting, but like yelling at each other in the street or something. And some guy coming outside and being like, "Shut the fuck up." And I'm sure he had a good reason.
Yeah.
Because
you were yelling in the street.
Yep.
That's a good reason.
I'm sure he had a good reason. And I was like, "Fuck you," and like took my glasses off and like threw them into the bushes or something. And I was like, I'm gonna beat this dude's ass.
move.
And he just fucking handled me like a child. Like this man
How I
just
prepare to fight? Handicapping myself
Just-
by getting rid of my glasses.
I'm nearsighted, so I don't need them for somebody that's in my face. But this dude just fucking like knocked me around like a little kid to the point where he was like, "Are you fucking done, you idiot?" And I was like, "Yeah." Like legitimately, like the guy clearly like had, I don't want to say like trained, but like knew what he was doing, because he was like kicking me in the fucking side and just not beat the shit out of me. Like I don't even know that I had like a much in the way of a bruise, but just handled me like
of Yakuza 0, where this guy's trying to fight the guy and he just does like little gentle moves to get him to the side. It's pretty fun.
No, he definitely hit me a bunch, but
Aw.
and I kept like getting up. I kept getting up and like just doing the same thing, just trying to like rush him, and yep. He clearly like he knew what to do. The dude just fucking kept slapping me down. Not slapping, he kept knocking me down. It was what's the word I'm looking for? Embarrassing.
Wow.
It was fucking embarrassing.
So
Anyway, that's
oh, go ahead.
my answer to that question. Nope, that's all I said.
There's a time machine. Time Machine 2 in the pool. The pool is a time machine. It's a
I like
time
this.
pool.
You can climb up ladders on the side and stuff. Like it's silly.
There's
They
lots of
do. You do get a
exposition.
little cutscene or an email or something where they explain like his the brother Will, is that his name?
Yeah.
Bought it. He bought it, but like his attorney bought it, so it's not even his name. So that's why they can't find it.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be really easy? Just like, hey, who's Will's attorney? And then or like, is there any place in this small town of Riverport where they've delivered like 100 tons of industrial machinery?
Yeah, you find out that he got tons of tons of stuff in the late 90s. They're all my age, which I think is pretty funny. I guess, right? Are they around
100?
my age? No, I guess
200
not. I'm
years
still
old.
older than them. He must have been. Well, I guess the older brother Will is my age, because he was like 1897, like me.
Is Will the older brother? I thought he was the younger brother.
No,
he's the older brother.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why is he
They
so little?
say that Beth
Why does the older
Wilder-
brother
I was-
not simply eat the younger brother?
Oh, that's a good question.
and steal his powers. I was reading the wiki today, the Beth Wilder wiki entry on the Quantum Break wiki, and they said she's born in 1991.
Oh,
That would make her like 33 years old.
now.
Gross.
But not at the time. At the time, she would have been.
No, at the time she was 25.
Yeah, 25. The prime. Well, you know what? That's getting a bit old for DiCaprio. He's gonna be probably dumping her pretty soon. Anyway,
What
so
a moldy oldie.
there's a second time machine. They started up. You got to find the core button, which spoiler is in the core, and then there's all these other different buttons. You're basically doing kind of the same stuff you did back at the lab to activate
Yeah,
it.
you also find, and it's a little bit before this. I think it's in the docs section where you run through the little mini labs, but there's a document that explains how the time machine works. And I was right last week when I was trying to explain it. You can't go further back than when you turn the machine on.
Yeah,
So that is confirmed.
Will writes a speech for mouth breathers, and then he keeps trying to
Yes.
use egg metaphors, and he gets mad that he keeps using egg metaphors.
I love that. I
Yeah.
loved his like self-depreciating notes where he was like, "This is stupid."
That's
Don't
what I
say
do in
this.
when I'm writing my
Yeah,
scripts
he's like,
for my
don't bother
videos.
explaining this.
But also, Jack is, continuing to bumble along and not pay attention because Will's notes are also pretty clear. Like, you can't really change things. Like, because Jack's whole plan is to, like, go back and stop any of this from happening. But we know he doesn't do that because he didn't do it.
Right,
You know?
and I think Beth knows that too, but he keeps talking over her. Can you imagine that, Vanessa? Like someone talking over you when you have the correct answer.
Never in my life has that ever happened to me.
Interesting. Anyway, so he, so you start up the time machine, but it's making little clinky clunky sounds. It doesn't seem to be totally working. There's something wrong in the date entry screen. And
Well, it's also like a ganky wanky time machine.
yeah, it's like an old dusty one. And they realize
And
they need to
the
get...
corridor isn't even like complete, so I don't know how they think they're going to use it.
It's true. Well, they need to get someone who knows how to fix this, and Beth is like, I know who can fix this. Dr. Severe Bob herself, Sophia Amaral.
Whoa, Sophia Amaral, she's the script doctor.
And she's
She's
going...
more like the technical advisor on the script, science advisor.
Yeah, she's the science advisor for Hollywood scripts.
And she's like, well, she's going to be at this party tonight, but, there's no way to get in. And Jack's like, well, what if I have an invitation? And she's like, Jack, no. Cut to Jack getting arrested.
Yeah, he just turns himself in.
Yeah.
I thought he
He
was going to
also
put on a
doesn't, like-
tux and go
Yeah,
show up at the
I
party and be
know.
like, I'm expected. And instead he just goes and turns himself into the cops.
Yeah. Which is like not exactly going to the party, like
No.
Paul Serene said.
No, it should have been a more James Bondy thing, like Matt said.
I wanted to see canapes.
Well, we can always play Beyond Two Souls, where there is an infiltrating the party mission.
If only. If only it wins the vote. Oh, no, wait. That's
Didn't we
Beyond
already
Good and
play
Evil.
Beyond Two
No,
Souls?
we were going to, but then neither of us could finish it in time, or it was too long. And
Oh, I think
I
I played that
played-
entire game.
I played
Oh, no,
so
it was-
much of
it
it.
was me.
And then,
Yeah, it was me.
Yeah, I
was
played
me.
a ton of it, and then Matt was like, I changed my mind. We're not playing it.
Oh, that just reminds me. I nominated Grandia 2 for the vote, but what I had in the back of my mind that I was going to nominate was Heavy Rain. I meant to nominate Heavy Rain for the vote.
that would have been great.
I thought
Jim.
we played that for the show
no,
already,
we've
too.
only played Detroit Become Human and Indigo Prophecy.
Yeah, we did play Indigo Prophecy too.
Why
know.
did I play Heavy Rain? Just like for fun?
Yeah, you just love that
Yeah,
game.
because you're a David Cage fan.
Yeah.
Oh.
Anyway,
Press X to Jason.
speaking of CG cutscenes, there's a so now you get your first junction point where Mr. Hatch and Mr. Serene are talking, and there's a little bit of tension between them because Paul's like, I'm calling the shots, I'm the big dog. What are you doing? And then he's like, okay, well, how do you want to handle this? You can go business. You can treat this like it's business or treat it like it's personal now that we got Jack here. And then okay, they have the audacity to put all these intel things around this level and get mad at me for looking at it. Like,
Yeah,
I
it's
know.
really
Let's-
fucking obnoxious.
Lance Reddick's like, we really have to go. What are you doing? Stop
Yeah.
that.
And it's sort of, I think it clarifies the relationship between Paul Serene and Mr. Hatch in that Paul Serene founded Monarch, but he couldn't do it publicly because he is a time travel boy, and so he got Mr. Hatch to be like the public face of Monarch.
Where is it something in the email here where they talk about how no one knows who Mr. Hatch is? And that he just appeared in 1999, basically? It might have been in one of the emails. That he's a mystery man.
Oh, really?
I assume he's just an actor that Paul Serene hired to,
he seems to know what he's doing, and he's always making Paul take questionable medicine. And that there's some emails from Sophia, and she's like, I don't know about this medicine. I don't think something's up. Something's up with Mr. Hatch. What do we know about him? Anyway, so you go out.
Well, it's also worth pointing out that Mr. Hatch uses eye drops, and you can find them in Act 1 of this chunker, or Chapter 1 of this chunker, and they are specifically named like Chronon infused eye drops. And why would Mr. Hatch need those? That doesn't make sense.
No, he has them they're for Paul Serene, aren't they?
No,
yeah,
you
I thought
see
Paul
him
Serene
use them.
them.
You see
yeah,
him
you
use
do
them.
see Hatch use them.
Oh.
But Serene
interesting.
uses them too.
Oh.
Okay, I don't remember that, but I'm sure you're right. I just don't.
Yeah,
I
you
didn't
definitely see
that.
Serene use them. I didn't think about when you see.
You definitely see Hatch use them, and I think they're labeled Hatch's eye drops.
Oh, well, then I missed that. Anyway,
I just remember in one of the cutscenes or episodes, I guess if you want to call them, he does use eye drops. But maybe they were just generic eye drops, and only Paul's have Chronon.
Mm-hmm. So so outside, Jack is waiting for you, and you get to see once again two different outcomes. And what I really like here is that the outcomes that Paul Serene sees are misleading in a really interesting way. Because
why is that?
Because he sees if you say it's just business, he's like, okay, well, I'm not even gonna talk to Jack. You know, I haven't seen him for 17 years. We don't even know each other anymore, and I have a huge speech I got to deliver. So, Mr. Hatch, Martin, why don't you go deal with Paul and talk to him and have and I'll go do this meeting. And then he sees the future, and he sees Paul Hatch saying, and there's your one unaccounted for element, and you see Mr. Hatch take out a gun, and Paul's like, okay, so this is it. This is it. He's going to kill Jack after this meeting. That's it. That's the end of this time thing, and I can move on with your Project Lifeboat. And then there's the other one, the personal one, where he gets a meeting with Jack, and that does mean that Jack lives, but is going to be a thorn in his side. And also, the meeting doesn't go well.
I picked personal, and I found the conversation between Jack and Paul to be kind of anticlimactic, bordering on boring.
Yeah, it's like Paul didn't even really try to convince him. He's just like, Jack, I can explain everything. And Jack's like, screw you killed my brother. And he's like, fine, bye.
Yeah.
It's like, no, he's handcuffed there. Just start talking,
Yeah. That's why I picked the option, so that you guys could talk to each other.
Yeah. What's he gonna do? Just be like, la, 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 I'm not listening.
Well, we all want Iceman and Littlefinger to be good friends. That's what we all chose, right?
No, I chose business.
What?
Johnny.
Well, okay, what are these three going to choose? I didn't ask. I was like, I bet they want the in-person encounter because it's narratively satisfying. So I'm going to avoid that and choose the other one so that I get. And I think I actually did the same as you the first time I played it. So this is a whole new chunk of the episode. Well, let's get to it.
Also, I feel like it implied heavily that if Serene gives the speech, or no, maybe if Hatch gives the speech, there's an assassination attempt?
Yeah, because in that vision, they're like, oh, where did that shot come from? Oh my god. And I'm sure that will come to fruition, but I don't remember it happening in this chunker.
It's probably fucking Liam, or whatever his name is.
Oh, yeah.
So there is a party, and cut to, well, I guess Liam is now, he gave himself up, and he's in prison. Meanwhile, Charlie and Fiona are on their wonderful date to a party, where Fiona's like, oh, tell me more about work secrets. And Charlie's like, I can't tell you about work secrets.
I can't, but I will.
I like the scene of Liam being held in captivity, because how he tricks the guard is by screaming that he needs to take a shit over and over and over again. He says, I need to take a shit like 12 times.
Yeah. Well, and then he's also like, look, this is a big mix-up. I'm head of security. They're going to let me out of here, and I'm still going to be your boss, and you're going to be the guy who didn't let me take a shit. So come on. Let me take a shit.
Yeah, and then the guy comes in to like usher him to the bathroom, and he does like a Jackie Chan chair kick and kicks a chair at him. That was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if the guy who plays Liam is like a stunt guy, because he seems to be doing all sorts of crazy stunts, but I wasn't sure if it was actually the actor or a different generic looking guy.
Yeah, I don't know.
I wonder what the actor drew from in like real life experience to so convincingly portray a man who needed to take a shit.
He was method acting. He hadn't shit in like 2 days.
Yeah.
So at this party, did you get what Fiona and Charlie were playing? Because there were people watching, right?
Yeah, there were people watching.
And she's like, there's this lady and this guy, and then she takes out her phone and she's like, I win, you owe me another sword, because she's trying to get Charlie drunk.
Yeah, she's trying to get him drunk. I kind of felt bad for Charlie here. Like, he's clearly like a fucking incel loser. Mm-hmm. And this lady does, I mean, she's not like throwing herself at him, but she's
manipulating him, for sure.
She's manipulating him. She's giving him fucking vibes like, maybe I am into you, and he's clearly into her. Mm-hmm. And then that all falls apart. And I guess I have to admit, I did kind of feel bad for this guy.
Well, I think that the acting for this episode is a lot better than the first one. I think the writing's a lot better too.
I agree. Mm-hmm. Oh, the writing is a lot better. I actually came around a little bit on Liam's character. He gets a little more time to just like do stuff and talk to other characters, which he didn't really get a lot in the first episode.
Like how he has to take a shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean that was really. I could relate. To
yeah,
that.
Who doesn't need to poop? All of us. Yeah. We all need to poop.
I've never pooped in my life.
Oh.
And you can't prove otherwise.
How was the bathroom situation at the Jason Mraz concert, Jim? Was it like the inverse of a Taylor Swift concert, where like
they were porta potties? It was at an amphitheater, so it's like outdoor restrooms.
What happens at a Taylor Swift concert?
Actually, it wouldn't have been the inverse. It would have been the same, whereas, like, there's huge lines for the women's restroom and then no lines for the men's restroom.
No, they were unisex porta-johns. Mm-hmm.
Gross.
Yes.
Did you go
Porta-john company around me is called Duty Calls.
Mm-hmm.
The one from last night was called Al's Johns.
Well, the ones in Quantum Break were called, and I noticed this today, Portage portable toilets. Don't you notice these things? Like, I wonder how they label their portable toilets in this. Anyway,
I didn't notice that.
You should contribute a wiki article about the porta-johns.
You should do one of your Bears and Games episodes about porta-johns in video games.
Yeah.
I was kind of thinking about doing an episode of Queer History about jiggle physics and how it's used on men and women. I thought that would be fun, but people might take it as I don't know. I don't think. I think it's fascinating how like programmers put it on whoever they think is hot. I think that's really funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway. But it's not really, it's outside of my purview a bit. It's just something I found funny, and I kind of want to do a video on one day, but not right away. Anyway, so this party, they decide to go for a walk outside after, she's got him drunk, and she's still trying to get more secrets from him, because he's like, I found a traitor, and she's like, oh, who is it? He's like, I can't tell you. And they go outside, and they're talking outside, and then Liam shows up with a gun. He's like, you shoulda just let me into the lab, buddy. That's all I wanted. And then he says to Fiona's like, oh, you know Beth, right? And he's like, yeah, you know Beth? And she's like, yeah, that's the only reason I'm here. And Charlie's little heart, it just breaks.
It breaks.
Yeah.
It was pretty good acting. Like, I felt bad for this guy. Like, I don't like this guy, but I felt bad for him.
And also, Brennan
thought he had a shot.
Showed up for a second. The one person that Charlie has authority over and can boss around. He was there for a second. And, anyway. Oh, they also in the forest do see that sign, the Time Ripple sign with a T-Rex playing basketball or something.
It's a sign from their high school, I think.
Yeah. I thought that was funny. That's the only time riffle I got this time. So Liam takes them hostage and it's like, okay, well, there's a secret lab under this mansion, so take me over there. And Charlie's very sad, but he lets them in, and then he uses his Windows Phone 8 to get into another one. He's like, I guess I have to do it, huh? Thank you, Charlie. Great job, Charlie. They don't actually say that. He says that because they don't thank him.
Yeah, he does start to get a little bit interested in what they're looking for, though.
Well,
It seems like he's not. Well, I mean, but Charlie isn't like in on what's going on in this lab.
Yes,
he can get them in, but he doesn't actually know what Monarch's up to.
Yes, and then he finds out very quickly because there is something in this containment cell, and that something is someone got lawnmower manned.
Yeah, they did
Dr.
reference
Kim.
this in like emails and stuff you find earlier in the chunker.
Well, they're like, what happened to Dr. Kim? He was working here, and now he's not, and nobody can find
Well, they
him.
said that
And
there's
it's
like stuff about
he's
his death in some articles.
He's like a time monster now.
Yeah, he is, or maybe like an annihilation alien a bit too. He looks like a CG blob. There's some
What do they call him? Like a chronon distorted
entity
life
or
form?
something. Yeah.
Yeah.
They say life form a few
okay.
times.
Yeah, I thought he was just sort of like jiggling in space, like
Yeah.
in time and things like that.
He looks very
He
distorted.
is kind of lawnmower man-ish.
Yeah. Because you see some like stills from a security camera, and this is where Fiona's like, okay, so my life wasn't going great, and he kind of mentored me, and so he means a lot to me. And then suddenly alarms go off, and then there's a time stutter, and they see Fiona's caught in the time stutter. Meanwhile, Liam and Charlie are by these time suits, so Charlie puts on a time suit, and while Liam starts shooting at some time soldiers, which looks so goofy in live action, I love it.
Yeah, they look very dumb.
It reminds me a lot of the Hiss outfits, or no, the anti-Hiss outfits.
They look like, Mom, I want a stormtrooper. Honey, we have stormtroopers at home. That's what you get here.
Well, I kind of like that they have this like crappy homemade look to it. Like, this is new
Yeah,
technology.
maybe they should be wearing all white, though, so that they
Yeah.
don't look like stormtroopers. Like, it's
Aren't they
very
wearing-
silly.
Aren't they wearing like just hazmat suits?
No.
Oh, that's what I thought they were wearing.
They're wearing, like, body armor and, like,
Oh.
gas masks, and they look dumb as shit.
I kind of like the look.
Me too.
I think it's fun. One thing I thought was funny was you see Paul Serene getting his like chronon treatment, and the like mask that they built for him to do his treatment looks like it looks like Nike made it. It doesn't look like
It kind
like
of
a
reminds me
homemade.
of Bane's mask a bit.
It does.
You also see so let's talk about our two meetings, because as Paul envisioned, when Mr. Hatch meets Jack, he does take out a gun and he says, like, you're the one, you're the one unaccountable thing, and it's like pulling out a gun. But then he just puts the gun on the table, and then he leaves a little key for Jack. He's like, so why don't we figure stuff out, huh? Winky.
Yeah,
Whoa.
there are multiple characters who talk to Paul, and he's always like, I've seen everything that happens. I think it's a conversation with Dr. Amaral where she's like, can you maybe just like entertain the possibility that maybe you can like incorrectly interpret some of the things that you see? And it seems like that happens constantly.
Yeah.
It's him getting these interpretations wrong.
Yes. So what happened? So how does it end with Jack? He just leaves him. How does Jack escape? I guess is the question.
I don't think he does.
He doesn't.
Oh,
He does. If you roll into Act 3,
Well, no.
you'll see how. We'll talk about that next.
Act 3
Yeah.
opens with his escape. Okay.
I did like
But-
when Jack and Liam were in the truck together. I don't know if that happened for you guys, where he's like, "Thanks for the gun."
Yeah.
That was pretty funny.
I liked so in the episode you see Liam and Fiona and opportunistic Weasley IT guy. What's his name?
Charlie.
Charlie.
Marley?
Charlie.
Oh, Charlie. They're like trying to escape the time stormtrooper guys, and they need these chronon harnesses because there's the stutter in the hallway, and he just grabs them and runs away.
Yeah.
Charlie does.
Yeah.
Well, and she gets stuck in the hall because she tries to like
she
run
gets stuck
through
in
the
the
hall,
stutter.
and
Yeah.
then she's frozen. And then Liam is like fighting off the guys, and Charlie just grabs the harnesses and runs away.
Can we talk about how these time soldiers are even more like stormtroopers than we have said, in that they have time powers and this Liam guy does not, but he still just manages to kill them? They just stand in one place while he shoots them.
Well, he's a trained like operative.
Okay, they can freeze
They're trained
time.
too, right?
There's a whole like email thread about how he could be like a striker like these time cops, but he's not a time cop because he has too much morality and would have problems leaving his pregnant wife behind to go on the lifeboat because they already have
Yeah,
enough
you know,
nurses.
Well, because
There's
she
this really
dreamed that
long
he was
file
a
you can
cat,
find.
so of course.
There's this really long file you can find that's basically like a psychological workup of Liam's character, and it's like he's good at following orders, and he will do like morally reprehensible things following orders, but he also has the need to feel like he's somewhat in control of his life. So, and the fact that he knows there's like a world-ending event that he doesn't have any control over, and he does understand that he's not a part of the solution, is kind of causing him to break mentally. And so they're saying that like because his illusion of choice is being taken away and he's starting to clue in, he's becoming less and less stable and reliable. So it's just a really interesting look into his character and why he's doing what he does. It's a very well written little piece of information.
And
that you
that's
get.
why he's the star of the show.
Yeah.
He's the star of the he's the star of the show, not star of the game, but he's the star of the show.
He is the star of the show.
Weird power conversation between Sophia and Martin here. The one where he's looming over her. The one that started our
I don't.
Yeah,
I don't
just
remember
watched
that.
it this
I
morning.
don't remember either.
They were talking. They were talking in mumbly things, and I can't remember what they're talking about. But he did. It seems like she was objecting to something. Was it about Paul's treatments? Or
I think it was
something?
about Paul, Paul's treatments and the fact that he's unstable and she doesn't trust him.
And he's like, "Don't worry, I've got this."
Well,
And then
she says to him, like, you seem scared, and that's when he gets all power trippy, and he's like, "Do I look like a man who is scared to you?" And I was like, I watched that and was like, yes, the way that you're like forcing this woman into a corner by like ominously pushing forward towards her while she's just standing there and she's half your size does in fact to me imply that you're fucking scared. I really wanted her to say that to him. Like, yeah, like your behavior right now screams terrified.
Vanessa, what do you think of Sophia's wig?
I think that if a woman wants to wear an obvious wig that's a severe bob, then she has the right to do it.
It's so good. I love it. I want to wear that wig.
That wig was
Yeah,
blonde, we would be calling her Karen. That's all I'm saying.
It's not quite a Karen.
It's just odd because it is so clearly a wig,
Yes.
and her character doesn't necessarily come off like someone who would wear like kind of a bob wig for fun. But, maybe it's a religious choice. We don't know. Maybe
was that
she's
movie
Orthodox Jewish.
Or it's just a bad wig and a bad show.
What was the movie where Queen Amidala wore that pink bob wig? That was a bad movie.
Closer.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's it.
There was like a phase of time because like Alias had a pink bob wig too.
No, that was a red wig.
Oh, I apologize, but it was like the thing. It's like if you want to be sexy lady, you have to have a bob wig.
Yeah. If you want to be
Yeah,
sexy,
that was-
you want to look like Jennifer Garner.
And in,
Wow.
and in that
The
episode,
blandest human on earth.
J.J. Abrams was inspired by Run Lola Run, which that wig was inspired by.
Oh, interesting.
Which I know from the director's commentary that I have watched on that episode. Anyway.
Sad.
Yep. Next time.
Do better things with your time.
Next time on Square Roots, we're going to play through 3 and 4. It's only going to be the one double chunker, so this is going to be a beefier episode. Can't talk about The Stand for 20 minutes.
I know. I'm surprised we didn't veer into fucking Langolier territory.
Yeah,
Oh, that's
next
right.
time.
I forgot to mention
I
Langoliers.
forgot to mention that I watched Langoliers.
too
Save it for next
What
week.
a
Next
great
week.
fucking miniseries.
We're not getting into Langoliers
You know what?
talk.
Langoliers
Nope.
kind of related to Quantum
We'll
Break
talk
a
about
little
it next
bit,
time.
if you think about it.
Hey, I like the time travel in Langoliers way more than I like the
No,
time travel
no.
in Quantum Break.
No Langolier talk.
So Act 3 and 4.
God, I
episode
watched it 2 days
3
ago and
4.
forgot I watched it. That's how goddamn bland that thing is.
So there'll be one more episode after that for the finale. So the next episode will be our penultimate episode of Quantum Break. Apparently there's
Wow.
only 4 episodes of the show too. So wow.
Y'all should probably go ahead and download Tactics Ogre.
Yeah,
I'm
I already
you,
have it installed
Jim.
on my Vita.
I'll do it tomorrow.
I'm looking at you, Jim.
I'll buy it on fucking Steam.
So, yeah, Matt,
Ah,
what are you squarely against? And
I'm
say the
squarely against
Langoliers.
those doofy fucking stormtrooper knockoffs. It's not good. Like, it's bad. All I'm saying is, like, just put some color on them because it does look like you're trying to make it look like the stormtroopers so much that it's bad. You know
Some
what I
of
mean?
them are
You know how
yellow.
when you're watching a movie and it references a better movie? Like, that's what's happening here. This is... these fucking time stormtroopers look like shit, and it's not good. What about you, Jim? What are you squarely against?
I'm roundly for the live action episode. I thought it was really interesting. I think it was well written, and I think the cast is pretty charming. The only thing I don't like about it, you guys remember when like Sony was trying to get into the streaming game and they like made that Powers TV show?
Oh, yeah.
With
I love the Powers comic, and I was so excited about that, and it was so fucking bad.
It's bad. The live action bits of Quantum Break have that same veneer of production, like that production veneer that those Sony properties do. Like, I don't know. There's something about the production of it that just looks very hollow and empty and weird. Like, it doesn't feel like a real thing. I don't know how to describe it. It just seems very superficial to me. I think that's the worst thing about it, but I liked everything else. Vanessa, what are you squarely against?
I'm squarely against my own inability to find these chronon points. When I found the one in the pool, I was like, oh, cool, this must be when they introduced this brand new mechanic. And it turns out there was like a whole bunch, and I missed them before then.
There's
And
like
I-
20. There's so
I
many.
thought I was doing a good job of like looking around
But
and
if you hold
finding
down,
things.
if you like hold down Y for a long time, you'll see little dots on the map show up for the ones that are around you.
You don't have to hold it
Okay.
down. You just have to hit it, and they'll pop up.
You have to be within a certain radius of them, though, or else they won't show up on the
Unless it's bugged, and then they'll show up forever, even though you can't get them anymore.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that's annoying.
It is like
No.
it is like a little radar, but it doesn't do
Yeah.
distance very well, so it sucks.
No.
But if they're really close to you, they also make a sound, so you can hear them, and it'll turn yellow. The little dot will turn yellow if it's really close
Yeah.
to you.
Yeah.
Wow. I feel like I have to like replay Act 2 now
can't.
or
I mean, it's
something, and I
not
don't
long.
want to.
Oh, okay. Never mind then. Don't bother.
But will I be so underpowered that I can't finish
you
the
playing-
game?
You're playing on the easier mode, aren't you?
Yeah, but I'm really bad at video
Okay, well,
games.
then
I need all the
maybe you
help I can
should.
get.
Maybe you should go back and get those.
Oh.
Sorry. Ask me how I leveled up. Or no, not leveled up. Ask me what I'm squarely against.
Johnny, what are you squarely against?
I am roundly for jumping on the van. That was fun. I don't know why. I just liked it. I thought
I'll
it was
agree. 100% agree. I thought it was cool.
cool. That was fun. Yeah, the freezy time platforming I really like, and we're gonna get way more of this later in the next chunker. But I really enjoy the freezy time platforming. All right. Well, Jim, what's a Patreon?
Patreon at patreon.com/squareroots-podcast. We have all of our great, amazing, hilarious bonus content.
What's the next bonus content,
And
Jim?
The next bonus, I'm actually kind of serious about wanting to watch We're either gonna watch Margot, do a commentary from Margot, or we're gonna watch Witchboard.
What's Margot?
Haven't. Margot is the one about the smart house that kills you.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I'd rather watch Margot if that weighs in any direction.
I feel
for
like
you,
I'd
Jim.
rather watch Witchboard if that weighs in any
Ooh.
direction.
Wow.
Maybe we need to do a vote amongst ourselves.
I'm neutral though, so I'm not gonna bias this either way. Either one sounds
Fucking-
fun to me.
Look at me. I'm
So in
John
the
Brennan.
end,
Call me Sweden.
It looks like in the end it comes down to Jim and what Jim wants to decide.
Points, Matt.
I guess we'll find out. But at the $3 subscription level, you get access to all that content. At the $5 level, you get access to all that content, plus the ability to vote on games we play on the show. There is a vote active right now as of the release of this episode. Right now, Tactics Ogre Reborn, is that what it's called? Tactics Ogre Reborn is winning, followed by BioShock, followed by Beyond Good and Evil, followed by Grandia 2.
Now
So-
we don't put our fingers on
so
the scale
sure.
here, but if you want to help Jim out, maybe vote for
I
something
was
else.
so sure that Grandia 2 was going to win that vote.
Why?
I don't know, because our listeners love fucking classic RPGs.
Yeah,
and that's
like
what
Tactics
Grandia 2
Ogre.
is.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, Tactics Ogre is winning. Seems like the game that we're gonna play. But if you wanna swing the results, you can become a subscriber
Yeah,
and vote.
I mean, it is worth pointing out that Tactics Ogre is currently winning handily, so your vote probably won't count, much like it
Wow.
won't count in the
Well, no,
2024
that's not-
election when
wow.
Donald Trump wins.
yes.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks for sweetening my sales pitch, man.
I'm trying not to sweeten your sales pitch, motherfucker.
All right, well, another benefit of being a patron is that we like to personally thank some of them on the show every week.
I mean, we don't like
kick
to.
us off.
We're obligated
Yeah,
to.
we do it. Yeah. I'm going to kick us off this week by thanking Ederal, Eduardo Franco, Chris Parsons, Amish Priest, Star Healer, Rubber Bear, Respectable Name, Star Drifter, Kodab Games, and Saul Wagner.
I'd like to thank Worked Muffin, Butt Cheeks for Square Roots Podcast. I'm Stim Stanks. I'm Josh Holt.
Josh Holt.
Florian Jonas Kramer. Jaybird, Isaac Wright, Sergeant Spaghetti, Ari Capovara, and Megatons are fun. Oh, excuse me. Megatons of fun.
Yeah, that's a real Vanessa mistake.
Wow.
Vanessa,
I'm
go
right here.
Yeah, read the next ones. Don't make any mistakes.
Andy, Mike Marno, Seth G, Hexagon, Tom, Dr. Fine, say everyone's name, Jake Dickerson, Tracy, the Bog Queen.
No,
It
it's
makes me uncomfortable
Borg,
to hear my name
obviously.
read on a podcast. And Tracy.
I'd like to thank John B. Quaker Oatman, Nick, Orcus the Great, Wash in the Wind, Ian Frederick, Chris Penyak, and Activate Toilet.
All right, that's it for this episode of Square Roots. If you'd like to send us an email to have read on the air, we're at squarerootspodcast@gmail.com. Come join our Facebook group. It's called the Square Roots Podcast Group for smart, cool, very attractive people. Or find us on Blue Sky at squarerootspod.bsky.social. I feel like we should start plugging the Discord on here too. We also have a Discord that you can join. Send us an email to squarerootspodcast@gmail.com. We'll shoot you a link. That's Matt's domain. Matt
It's
is
true.
the Discord
I'm
dude.
the only person left in the Discord.
It's true. Please rate, review, and
I
subscribe.
like
on
the Discord. Hi,
Apple
Artie.
Podcasts.
Hi, Galani. Hi, Chris. Thank you for chatting with me all day. I appreciate it.
Aw,
I really
I should
do.
go on there more. I'm sorry.
It's nice, man.
Me too.
Like it's so much calmer than like the Facebook group or the Facebook fucking chats
Now-
and all that
oh, yeah.
I
shit.
like the Facebook group.
But the Facebook group is now randomly taking pictures that you upload to a private chat. Well, it's not private, but and then like posting them into the group.
Yes.
It's
I
weird.
tried to find the setting
Super
to turn
weird.
that off, and I could not fucking
Yeah, me
find
too.
it. So good luck, Facebook chatters. Come to the Discord. You don't have to worry about that.
All
It
right.
took a picture of the salad that I had for lunch out of the chat
The
and put
meat
it
salad.
onto.
Yummy, yummy.
Yeah,
Our
again, I want to
Facebook
say again, that was
page.
not a salad. That was a steak with some lettuce underneath it.
Yep. Meat salad. Yummy, yummy.
Yummy, yummy.
Please rate, review, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Ghana, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Thanks to Stephen Morse for our theme. You can find Stephen on YouTube. Links in the show notes.
All right, for Square Roots, I'm Jim Banks.
I'm Stim Stanks.
I'm Johnny Brandon.
I'm Vanessa, and I slept in from my pre-show nap, but I
You'll
made
be
it.
up all fucking night now.
Goodbye.
Bye.
I'll hit stop.